to chill and let us speak. We got it all ready to roll. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Core. Oh my gosh, dude. So Bo made a version of the intro that had me yelling that at the end.
You went really hard on that first take. And it's too long to use in the intro. So John and Scott are now like in the intro. They're
we're
part
embedded
of its
in
DNA.
There. Yeah. You guys want to hear
There was
it?
this take where you're just like, Core! Like gurgling, like blood curdling. And I was like, I can't use that, but I don't want to not use it.
Core! I mean, it's big. You can hear me gurgling. Yeah. So let's listen for me and John again at the top. Let's hear this. Core. I can hear it.
Yeah.
And you did it too, right, Bo? So we got all three of us in there.
Yeah, all three of us are in there. It's just when it's a chorus, everyone loses their unique identity, kind of, especially because we're all registering about the same frequency in our voices.
That's true.
But like you're in one ear, I'm in the other ear. No, I put myself central with volume lowered because I went core. Like I have a higher voice, and you guys both went core.
Yeah.
So,
well, except for the one where I went core.
Scott didn't give that one to me, I guess.
I could have.
Scott was like, "There's no way this is going on there."
I could have given it to you. I would have been fine.
No. I wouldn't have used it. I'm just blaming. I'm blaming you conveniently. That's all.
All right. I am a good person to conveniently blame. Speaking of things I can be blamed for, my bloodline, for example. My son Nick, my son Nick last night at about 9:50 p.m. or so after visiting hours, so we couldn't go see him then, but we saw him this morning, had a baby. So the town crier, some of you old Instance fans, that's right, 5 to 8 year old Nick is now a father of one little girl. Her name is Ramona. She's adorable and brand new, healthy, happy. Everything's good.
That's a great name.
It's pretty good, right? I don't know where they came out. I thought it was from Scott Pilgrim because they all love that movie growing up, my kids, but they said it was something else. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I went over there this morning, saw the baby. Everything's fine. Everything's cute. And I say to Nick, I say to him, I said, hey, what are you looking forward to the most when you guys get home? And he goes, well, it'll probably take a while, but when she's old enough to just sort of sit on my lap while I play video games, that's going to be cool. Oh. And I thought, yeah, that's right, dude. That's right. This is what matters. How soon can they be on your lap watching you play a video game and then having that, bleed into their lives so that they want to play video games and we start the whole cycle over like I did with them, like he'll do with her. And thus the circle of life continues.
It's always fun to
about
experience.
Halfway in on that.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
He wants to be in the room with me.
Yeah.
He wants me to be able to play video games. He has zero interest in watching it. I better put something else on YouTube at the same time.
Yep.
And then eventually he will look at me and he'll go, Dad, no more games. And I go, okay. Yeah. When it's time to shut it down.
Sure.
Says, no more games. We're done. Turn it off.
Yeah, that kid knows what's up. But what you were going to say something. What were you going to say?
No, I'm just saying it's always fun to experience something new again with, like discovering gaming with somebody who was learning. It's probably a very fun, unique thing.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, it is cool. And I'm excited for him, and they're doing great. So thank you, everybody, for all your nice comments and stuff. It's been a hell of a day, just kind of wrapping our heads around that. It's now time for this. The latest and greatest in video game news is upon us, and we were able to find out finally what Microsoft was talking about last week with the all the rumors swirling about and them saying we're going to get on our podcast and we're going to talk about our some of these rumors and our brand stuff and blah blah blah. And so a lot of people have been sort of like, holding their breath for this, see what this meant. And it turns out it's way less crown shattering than everyone thought it was. But we're going to talk about what they said. So. Here's this is the confirmed stuff. We have 4 games that will be releasing on other platforms. And when they say other platforms, they mean the PlayStation because they're already on PC and there is no other higher end console platform outside the PC to put these on. So it drives me crazy that all of this stuff, when they refer to other platforms, You know that they mean PlayStation and to a lesser degree the Switch for maybe smaller games, but it still drives me nuts. Anyway, whatever. The way we'll describe it is these games are coming to PlayStation. They didn't provide details on which games, but The Verge is reporting that the 4 titles that are confirmed to be coming are not the ones I thought. Hi-Fi Rush, we knew that was coming. That's the only one though. The rest of these were new. Pentiment, which is an amazing game. People should play it if you haven't. This is currently on Game Pass, an Obsidian title.
Pentiment.
Yeah, very cool game. Sea of Thieves. We all like Sea of Thieves.
That's not on PlayStation?
Nope.
That's surprising, actually.
Yeah. Seems like one that maybe could have done that a while ago. And gotten that done. But anyway, Sea of Thieves will be coming there. And then Grounded, another Obsidian game. 2 of these are Obsidian games. The rumors that were flying around were things like Halo Infinite and freaking Starfield and this sort of thing. And those are not on the list, or at least not yet. And it sounds like the only stuff they're going to put on these other quote-unquote platforms, put on PlayStation, are things that are a year or so old or more. So it almost sounds like timed exclusives, kind of what Sony's doing with PC releases anyway. So it's all kind of like much ado about nothing in some ways.
I can't believe that the internet got a hold of a slight rumor and might have blown it out of proportion.
Weird, right? Weird. I know. I can't quite believe it either. It's a shock to me. There are a few things, like they've announced that Diablo 4 will be coming to Game Pass on March 28th. And they claim, quote, this is only the beginning for Activision Blizzard games on the service. All right. That's fine. What does that mean, though? Probably Overwatch 2 is there soon enough. Probably we can all hope that Heroes gets a new life by having a broader audience and comes to Steam and other stuff. That would be cool. But they're going to start with Diablo on March 28th, so that's coming right up. They also said this. There's a quote. To ensure long-term success for both Xbox and the industry as a whole, we must continue to evolve. Today, we announced that we will expand the communities we reach. We are currently in the process of bringing 4 Xbox games to other platforms. Again, to PlayStation is what they should say. Although I guess Hi-Fi Rush can play on the Switch. Anyway. These are titles which have been available to Xbox players for at least a year, including hidden gems that deserve to be experienced more widely, and live service games whose communities will benefit from welcoming even more players. We will share more details on these titles soon. So there you go. What do you guys think? John, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you it's just a little like, okay, well, you did what you're just doing kind of what we all thought you were going to do. So what's the big deal?
I thought the whole presentation was incredibly boring.
Thank God you said that.
I've never been more grateful for you, Scott, than summing this up, because I'm the one who put it in here. I got in the show notes early and I went, I don't know, our main topic's probably the Microsoft thing, but I wrote that 3 hours before the Microsoft thing started. Yeah. Then I got busy working on something that's coming up later in the show, something completely stupid that took so much time today for me to do. But that was where all my time went. And I had this on while I was doing that. And I was like, I'm just doing Photoshop work. It's not like I have to pay that much attention to the Photoshop work. I'm sure I will get the gist of what happened. Yeah. And then next thing I knew, their little podcast or whatever was over, and I had no idea what was talked about at all. Yeah. And I went, oh shit, I'm going to have to listen to this twice. And then I got in the notes and saw that Scott had summed it all up, and I went, oh, thank goodness I don't have to listen to that thing a second time. Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy, because it's just, there's a point, it's a lot of corporate speak. It's a lot of obvious talk. It's like when they aren't saying something that's obvious, they're saying something that's extremely curated corporate. And when they're not doing either one of those things, they're basically talking over themselves, where it's a case of Phil Spencer being like, there just wasn't a lot of growth in the industry this year, so we had to make some cuts. That was hard. And then later I check back in with my attention span, and the lady's going, it's incredible growth. It's an opportunity for insane growth. We're experiencing so much growth. And I'm like, but Uncle Phil just said there was no growth and they had to fire people. Now you're saying there's growth. It's just horseshit. And I just was like, all right, well, I gave it as much attention as it deserved at the end of the day. Yeah. A lot of this stuff is obvious stuff. A lot of this stuff they would have been the safest predictions if you were trying to predict what's going on. It wasn't the end times. It wasn't the end of Xbox. And even if the things that people thought were happening, even that wouldn't have been the end of days, and honestly makes a lot of sense. So I'm not surprised, and it was ultimately a little underwhelming.
Well, the end game of that discussion I'll talk about in a second, but Bo, I want to get your reaction. To you, kind of same, right? Which is
So I tried to watch the podcast today twice.
Yeah.
It was just so bad. It was just so bad. I couldn't tell you anything that's going on over there. Like it's an insult to the word podcast. It was so prepared and boring. I just couldn't do it. So
yeah, it felt very safe.
You know, good luck Xbox with your games, I guess.
Yeah, it really isn't much. It's almost like, well, they felt compelled to do something because of the rumors, but then they just did the most bare minimum, boring ass corporate, shine they could do.
No jokes, no informal thing. And I gotta say, like, it's okay, but like Phil Spencer, he looks a little like maybe he's sick a bit, like
look haggard.
Yeah. Like just
beat up.
Publish more, do more of a press release video if you can't, like, just be a little casual about it. It just was so uptight.
Maybe he was up playing. What's that game he's super hooked on? I heard recently he's really into something, and he was up all night playing that.
Playing Helldivers.
Could have been Helldivers.
Probably.
Bo's very excited about Helldivers. We're going to talk about Helldivers today. I can promise you that.
But usually I like to joke that he's up all night, but like I was seriously concerned. That's the only thing I took away. I was like, actually, maybe Phil's got some stuff going on that he's just not making public. Like he seems kind of like. I mean, or I don't know. Xbox also, they got this thing. They like to sit them on uncomfortable looking chairs. Like every time they do an Xbox thing, they get the worst chairs in the world and they make them sit on it.
Yeah, they're not
like
great.
Every like, because there's a lot of them. Let's set up some cameras in my house and put the kind of podcasts where people are sitting down. The video ones that are kind of a trend right now. At least they got couches. Or like big old leather seats or something like that. They give these guys, they look like they're getting like secret enemas on these chairs. Like they look like alien tools for the, perforating the anus. Like it's not good. Like they're just sitting so uncomfortably and awkward. I'm like, what's going on with these chairs? Like, give them comfortable chairs, please.
Well, it's what Satya Nadella came in. He said, "Look, we're doing cloud." We don't care about phone operating systems anymore. Shut that whole thing down. We're going to improve Xbox, Game Pass services, cloud. Oh, and by the way, everyone's chair is going to suck ass while I'm here. So get used to it.
Who thought that was good presentation? Like, have they not seen, I don't know,
this show? Podcast? The one we're doing now?
I don't know. I saw a little bit of Taco Bell's weird E3 presentation that they did this past week. Talking about new menu items, and it was a lot more exciting than that. So.
You know what, John? I was mad. I didn't know that was a thing, and when I heard about it, that would have been something we would have loved to have covered live.
I know.
Wait, Taco Bell?
Yeah, they did a full...
Taco Bell has a podcast?
No,
I heard about it I saw reaction videos pop up and I went, what is this? And I watched the actual video and I went, why are other people reacting to this? How did Scott and I miss this opportunity?
I know. So Bo, what it was is like a full-on Apple presentation up on a big stage, a huge screen behind them, a keynote speaker. They swap people in and out and they get up and talk about new menu items. And
how long ago was this? We could do it now. It was way better than like this Xbox garbage.
Ago. I mean, again, I was only pointed at it because the reactosphere was already reacting to it, so we're certainly behind the times.
We only do once a week, but still, some people, maybe somebody wants to hear what John has to say about Taco Bell.
I would.
I mean, I got opinions, so it's fine. But,
the taco burrito supreme.
That was a shocking thing.
They made like a weird. They showed off a thing that looked like a gordito had sex with a wrap crunch thing, or I don't know. They were combining more things.
How long was it?
They put a Cheez-It in a crunch wrap. I remember that was one of the big things.
Cheez-Its, right. It was Cheez-Its.
Yeah, they put a Cheez-It in a crunch wrap. They're like, it's a Cheez-It in there.
Yeah.
How long
Cheez-It.
is it?
It's like an hour, or something.
Oh, it's a whole hour?
I think so. Actually, I'm not totally sure.
It's a bit long.
I'm not sure about that.
I thought it was like 5 minutes or something. I'm like, let's do it.
I keep getting people saying, you guys should get into this whole reaction stuff. That's really the hot thing, and I just resist it.
The problem with the reaction stuff is you got to talk through it, and it makes you realize there's something wrong with the people who just like constantly never shut up. And like, I know we're podcasters and we talk a lot, but like when you're it's a different thing when we're by yourself. We're talking. If I say something and you laugh, like it's fun. We're playing a game.
Right.
If you just like, because I do the streaming thing, it's like most of the time I'm just like, shut up. Like I'm just better with you guys, is what I'm trying to say. Like, and
maybe we should do it together. We react to it together, and then we just call that coverage like we would at any E3 event or anything else. So when's Taco Bell coming back with another Taco Out Loud? Let's talk out loud, Taco, or what? I don't know what they called it. I think they had a name. But John, do you know? Have you been keeping track? Do we know when we get to see this again? No. Did I lose John? Did I lose Bo? Can no one hear me? Have I lost everyone? Here's my react video to John and Bo not saying anything to me. Hold on. Let's find out what's going on. All right.
I saw the little green going, and I just assumed it was just me, so I immediately started unplugging things and plugging them back in.
No, I was
what's
like
going
fiddling
on?
with every wire imaginable.
Yeah,
I
no, that was
uninstalled Windows, reinstalled it. I sent my other computer away, and
wow, you're fast, dude. You're quick.
Yeah.
No, that was I don't know what happened. Discord had a weird fart, and now it's back. So I guess we're okay for now. I don't know even what I was saying, but it was real interesting. Oh, I know what I was going to say.
Just about streamers and how everything goes in, like the reactosphere is about everything going in one way and no sunshine coming in the ear.
No sunshine. There you go. There ain't no sunshine when she's gone, is what I always say. Here's what Spencer said. He reaffirmed that Xbox would continue to make hardware going forward. All right. Not saying what hardware, but he said they would. Seeking to alleviate concerns that Microsoft plans to get out of the console business altogether. Bond, the new lady over there, she said, meanwhile, reiterated Microsoft's desire to make every screen an Xbox. What do we think of that quote?
Every screen.
Yeah, that
Xbox.
makes sense.
It's what they've been saying for years, right? Haven't they always said this? We want you to take your old shitty notebook and turn it into a streaming Xbox Game Pass device.
So it's what they probably have to say, but it is a weird thing to say, right? Like,
A little bit,
like,
yeah.
Our goal is to become a monopoly. You will never watch anything that isn't on Xbox. It's like, well, chill out, dude. Like, we just want you to be successful, not dominant.
Yeah.
When did this become world domination? Like, well, that's weird. You're weird.
Yeah,
That's a
and
weird
just
thing to
saying
say.
every screen on Xbox. I know what they mean, but
Like, just because you said that, I now don't want my screens to be Xbox. Like, I'm just going to be... We're America, right? Like, North America, like, we're contrarian.
No, you're
threw,
Canada.
We threw the tea in the water for a reason, or we watched others throw tea in the water for a reason.
I like that John just removed Canada from North America. I like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Because that's what we do.
You did the rebelling. I can't take credit as a Canadian for that stuff.
No, but you guys did blow up our White House. We had to rebuild
But we
it.
watched you do it.
Yeah, you went.
Yeah.
Good thing we're not them, but we're close.
When you guys went ham on the White House and burned it down, I know you weren't there. Okay, I know you weren't there for that, but that's a pretty ballsy move to do. And I know we were a newish country, and maybe you could get away with more. But for Canada to come down and burn the White House down, that's insane.
That seems like good old-fashioned hazing to me.
Does it?
We have a lot of like.
Hey guys, let's go down there and burn their capital down.
I think we still do.
Let's
Although
see
it's
what
less.
they do with that.
Yeah.
It's less, but we got a lot of monarchy simps in the Commonwealth. You know,
monarchy simps. That's amazing.
yeah, because it's like we're our own country. Like they got f all to do with us. Like love you're great people, but piss off. Like but there are people who think it's really important.
Yeah.
And it's in the Constitution that like the Governor General is a representative of the monarchy in Canada. And I'm like, can we get rid of it? It's been like 150 years. Piss off, England. Like, go run your own country. We don't need you.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you guys don't need them. Get some.
I don't know if
money.
that's treasonous or this thing to say or not. But like, whatever. Like,
Well, how hardcore are they about those rules? Like, can they come
I
to
throw
your...
my tea into the water, sir. I'm gonna go get my
You
There Will
just
Be
see-
Dungeons tea. And
Hear
just
the
fire
door
it off.
break down at Bo's house. A black bag goes over his head and
No.
pulls him off the screen.
We have-
Oh, Kill of the
man.
Monarchy.
Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if that happened while we were on the air? Somebody, even if it was like a swatting or something, but like one of you, somebody just
Don't
came in
put
with a
it
hood.
in
No,
people's
I really don't.
heads.
I don't want to be.
Don't
swatted.
put it on people's
Imagine if you guys
minds.
are swatted, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, but not
guys.
me. Yeah, I don't want it to happen to me. But if it was you, it's fine. No,
It'd be
that's not
cool
true.
if the Canadian secret police came by and just gave. They wouldn't. Nothing bad had happened. They just give me a talking to.
Yeah,
They'd
they
be
really
like,
have
you know, you
guns.
could go
The
to.
Canadian version of secret police. Is
Yeah,
just
you know what they're called?
A
They're called the-
megaphone. Hey,
called
can you come
CSIS.
out here for a second? We got to talk to you.
They're called CSIS. CSIS.
Is that really what they're called?
Yeah,
What's this?
our not FBI, CIA is CSIS.
CSIS. Are they like Mounties?
Yeah,
like
CSIS and desist.
are they like who is the Mountie cartoon that we all I grew up with?
RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. That still is a thing.
That's
too,
a thing.
But
Okay.
they're more like the FBI, kind of.
Really? But they're still in the big red suits and the horses and the whatnot?
No, only on show occasions.
Okay.
They're just only most
Can
of
you
the time.
imagine a
about
mounted
Mounties.
police
You're talking
version
about
of
Mounties.
a Mounties version of the X-Files?
Yeah, dude.
It's exactly like the X-Files, but they all have Canadian accents and they're on horses when they talk about aliens.
Yeah, it would be like I want to believe, eh? That'd be the whole thing.
Yeah, we have shows like that. They're not as good as you. Sounds
There
good
has
when
to
you
be
pitch
a logical explanation for this. You know?
You know.
It sounds good when you pitch it, but in reality, we have a few
it's
of
not
those
gonna.
shows.
It's probably not gonna happen. Well, anyway, good luck with that on Microsoft, and also everyone remember that next time you want to feel like you got to freak out about something, it's probably very boring. All right, it's not a big deal.
I think that's their way of trying to control the message. They're like, now you all will settle down or we will do another podcast.
Yeah.
We're sorry, we won't blow things out of proportion ever again. Please don't do that again.
Please don't.
I just wish there was a little more informal and fun. I don't know.
Yeah, well, no, I mean that's
too bad.
the medium allows for that more than any other, right? That's part of the charm of it, and I think you're right. Why not relax a little bit? They did that really well for years with Major Nelson. He's retired now, but he did that Xbox stuff for a long time, and it was super loose and fast and relaxed and all that. And I don't like when they get all uptight. I don't think anybody in gaming should
Podcasts
be
will
that uptight.
continue until morale improves.
See, there you go. My dog barked right when you said that. I could hear it through the wall. Well, anyway, there you go. Let's talk about what we played instead. That's more fun. Games we played this week. I'm gonna make this short, but I've been on a bit of a tear because of this Unreal.
Hey, back it up.
Oh,
Back it
I forgot. Shared play this week. We played something very cool. I don't want to skip this, actually. I don't know why I scrolled past it. We played Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. John and I did. Bo, I don't think you had a chance yet, but
No, I didn't. Sorry.
you were diving in hell is what you were doing.
Yep. Something else got my dwarf going.
But we got our dwarf going. And
maybe not the best way to word that, but
probably not. But anyway, this is their kind of take on the Survivors-like thing, Vampire Survivors-like game. Single stick, roll around, auto shoot, mobs keep coming. This has the added some added features like you're mining and cutting through rock and stone and finding gold and mining for that stuff while you're also fighting things and trying to go deeper and deeper. And I have to say, I think this game is rad. I like it a lot. I think it's the most fun I've had in one of these for quite a while. And I really like that other one, John, whose name I'm forgetting, the one that you and I like. What's that called? Die Another Day. Die if you can.
Death Must Die.
Death Must Die. Yeah.
Death Must Die.
Excellent game. Nothing wrong with it.
Death Die. Death Must Die.
Death Must Die. But I think this is real close to being the best of these I've played, and I think a big part of it is I love the setting and the game world it's already set in. That goes a long way because immediately you hear all those voices. You got the guy going, hurry up, guys. We got to get out of here before the thing happens. There's a swarm coming. That guy, he's in there. So far, I've only got the scout, so I haven't unlocked the other classes yet. But the scout sounds like the scout, so it sounds like Bo running around making noise when we were playing together. And I don't know what the other abilities are. I'm kind of excited to see those. A few hours in, though, I'm having a really good time with it, and I think the mining aspect of it really adds some layers to it that I wasn't expecting. John, you played the demo when the demo happened. How do you feel about the full, albeit early access release, but full game so far?
So I felt a little rough about it to start, honestly. I not that I didn't like it, because I do like this style of game. And this definitely is going back to the Vampire Survivors era. Like, this is an extraordinarily passive version of these games. We've talked about, ones that add dodges and more active elements while you're playing the game. This one is very much a passive, like all you're doing is moving your dwarf. They automatically attack, do whatever they're doing. Um, but it's by and large, you're really just controlling where your dwarf moves and everything else is automated. And in the past, I've said I really like that, but I feel like games like Death Must Die have gotten me to appreciate a potential slightly more active role in it. And so it actually took me a little bit to take that step back. And I think it was last week when we mentioned this game coming out, I said I did have a little bit of fear that this was going to feel like it came a little too late. Like, we've seen it all at this point, and it wouldn't have much new to say because it just felt like it was hitting a little later than I would have hoped
Mm.
for this type of game. And from my initial experience with it, like right out of the gate, my first hour or so, that's probably how I felt about it. I think I got in and went, "Oh, yeah, this feels a little old. This feels a little late to the game on this."
Mm.
Like if this came out closer to Vampire Survivors, I probably would have been like, "Oh yeah, it's really really cool." In a world where we've seen the genre evolve a little bit more, I don't know that it's that great. But then I started unlocking things. I
Mm.
started the progression a little bit more, and I think one of the main things is I don't think the initial loadout and scout character is very good at showing what this game could potentially be. Um, I unlocked the gunner, which was a different experience because this game is a lot of running away, especially because you're mining. And the gunner was kind of cool because you're certainly more powerful. You've got a lot more shooting that you can do. You can mow down your enemies a lot easier, but you have to actually aim your character at the enemies to do it. So all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where, okay, I got to face the enemies more. I can't just run away and expect to auto gun, or I
Mm.
have to walk towards them slowly, things like that. And it really changed the way you play. And then I think I found maybe the secret MVP to this game, which is I unlocked the engineer who drops turrets, and that's kind of the mechanic behind that. It's a much longer reload on your weapon, but you're dropping turrets. And I know this isn't the type of game you like, Scott, but what that did in conjunction with the mining is it created this very weird, like active tower defense type feel where it's like, well, if I dig a series of tunnels and I'm dropping turrets in these tunnels of rock, they're going to funnel in and I'll have these turrets that'll just mow them down as they, pop out and things like that. And all of a sudden the mining went from just kind of something you do in the game as like a unique quality to actually a strategic element with that character. And it was a lot more fun. It was a much better experience. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Mm.
So I think, the classes might alter it certainly alters the gameplay more than I expected it would. But I think it might even alter your experience and feelings towards the game in general because I think playing as an engineer was 1,000 times better of a game experience than playing as a scout.
Mm.
And I really liked that experience, that weapon loadout, and the things I was doing there because it really kind of it changed the game and it changed the formula a little bit. I still haven't unlocked the class that I play. I don't ride the driller or whatever. I'd be very curious to see what that is because that's the class I play in the game.
I'm
But
guessing it's going to let you tear through rocks and mine very fast and things like that, right? I would
yeah, I
imagine.
would I would think so. I would assume that would be its strength, and they use a flamethrower, so maybe there's a lot of that. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is I don't like every one of these I play. In fact, there's probably much more of these games I don't like than do, and I really like this one. So I still think it's a very good game. It feels a little it feels like a step back towards Vampire Survivors in far as, like what you're doing. This feels very idle. This certainly feels like a put it up on a, put something on the second screen and, you know, maybe you can split your time a little more on what you're watching than on this and have a good time unlocking stuff and all of that. But yeah, it looks great. It sounds great. It's got all the audio of Deep Rock Galactic. I think it's really good that the classes feel great. Um, and The mining aspect is a neat twist. I wish they did a little more with it. I think it's probably the most I've played one of these and gone, man, I wish this had the dual stick shooter quality where I could aim while playing. It just doesn't have that.
It's so
Weapons just
funny
have
to hear you say that
properties.
because you were so opposed to that not too many months ago, where you were just like, yeah, I don't
I
want
know.
one
I
of
know.
these. But now you're like, well,
Death
now I've had
Must
a
Die
taste of it.
really turned me around. Death Must Die. So I think, we had talked about this. Like, I certainly compartmentalized these into very passive games. And Death Must Die came along and was like, well, what if we created a game that was much more active? You're going to spend a lot more time paying attention to it, but it's just really fun and satisfying.
Mm.
And that kind of then got me over on that side of the fence. And now this is a step back to that. And I'm going, oh, I feel like we've evolved. I feel like I'm on the next level with my Pokemon, and you're trying to get me back to the generation before, but it is very, very good and it looks great. That's the other thing. It has a really clean look, very satisfying the way you collect experience and the way you mine and getting the items and all of that. So,
Yeah.
I think it's a really good one of these. I do think it's pretty expensive compared to most of these, right?
Well, it's
Like,
on.
not to say it's an expensive game, but it
Yeah.
is more pricey, I think, than what most of these typically are.
Yeah. So the launch has a sale. It's normally $10, and I think the sale is somewhere around $6 something US. So yeah, even that's expensive. The sale price is expensive for one of these.
Yeah.
Most of them are maybe max out at $4, maybe $5 for some of them. Vampire Survivors for the longest time was like $2.99. Like it was
Yeah.
it's cheap.
And I mean, I don't ever want to say, like, because I always say that price and value proposition is an individual thing. There'll be people that scoff at the notion of $10 even being considered expensive, and there are going to be those that are like, no, that price is it out of where I can play.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it is worth noting it's a little more pricey than what these typically are, and it's worth knowing what you're getting for that. Like, it's a very well rendered, lots of good audio, plays very well. One of these.
Yeah. Good lighting. The world's well represented. I haven't seen other biomes yet, but I know they're in there. Because the game's, famous for varying biomes and how they behave. I even like that you have to pick up those flowers to get XP. Sometimes secondary objectives.
You get some secondary stuff. You got to get your alpaca blooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's stuff we're used to in the game. And I just like that world enough that I kind of am here for them to do more. Like, I know they have that single player roguelike coming out soon called, what is it? Deep Rock Rogue something. Can't find it now. Anyway, it's on Steam to be wishlisted. But I love it when a dev finds like a groove and then just keeps, pumping out stuff within that groove. And this feels like a nice little labor of love. It doesn't feel cheap or thrown together to me. It feels like they're making something they want to make. And I agree with you it feels a little bit of a step back control wise, back to the sort of single stick and, casual mode sort of method of these games. But even then, it just feels like a really lovingly crafted little version of these, and it is an early access, which means new stuff could come, and we'll have to see how it goes. But I think it's a pretty rad one of these. I'll be trying it on Steam Deck tonight to see if it works. I'm told it does, but I don't think it's verified, so I'll let people know. That's Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, and you'll hear it a third time when Grandma comes on later today.
Yeah, hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma. All right, now I'll talk about the tear I've been on.
You've been on a tear.
We have a community server running Unreal Tournament 99 kind of 24/7. There's bots on there when no one's on, but lately when we've had planned times to be on there, we fill that thing up 24 slots and frag ourselves to death, and it's fantastic. And it's made me have kind of just an itch in general for arena shooters. And I've done stuff all week, just weird stuff. I re-downloaded Quake Live to see how that's going. I looked at Quake Champions, which is neat on the surface, but that game's got nobody in there. Nobody's playing it. It's kind of sad. And I reinstalled Unreal Tournament 2004 and Unreal 3, which came out in 2007. And I've been reading all this stuff and was reminded that in 2022, I don't know if you guys knew this, but in 2022, very briefly, Epic pulled all the Unreal games from Steam, but not in a malicious way. They pulled it and then left information about how they were working on something called Unreal 3X, and it was going to be a free-to-play, non-microtransaction loaded version of that game that would use their services, so their servers and stuff over on Epic, but they would have it on, they would reintroduce it on Steam. It'd be on the Epic Store, and it would be on consoles again. It would just be this free-to-play classic Unreal experience that also looks good, because 3 is really pretty even now. And then they unceremoniously stopped working on it and said nothing, and now it's just disappeared and nobody talks about it. So I'm still mad about that. I'm still sore about it. I want these kind of shooters to live again, and I want them to live without battle passes and without stores with egregious microtransactions and the free-to-play model. I don't want all that shit. I want public servers. I want to be able to run my own server. I want to be able to have some old-ass fun because I've got a taste for it again. Anyway, long story short, I played a ton of Unreal Tournament 99 against people in the community. I am currently ranked 5th on our server. I'm going to try to get higher if I can. We got some.
I didn't know there were rankings.
Maybe
I should get on there.
We're doing the whole thing, man. Rankings.
Make sure Scott's ranked at 6, if you know what I mean.
Is there a website for that?
Yes, it's sorry, where is it? It's retrogib.com. It's Dunaway's domain. retrogib.com, and it has a link to the server, how to play it with us. All that stuff's there, as well as server stats, and the server stats will tell you the rankings and everything right now. There's some people, though, in our community that are just destroying everyone, me included. Like, just, there's a huge gap between the guy in 1st and the plebes like me who are 4th and 5th. They're amazing. So anyway, the long, hard climb upward in Unreal Tournament 99 continues. And then I also played a bunch of Unreal Tournament 2004, and Dunaway's also setting up a server for that. So we're going to have that as an option. For a lot of people, that's where the series peaked. Gameplay and kind of innovation and sort of epic excitement-wise, it was definitely a high mark for them. And I really like 04 a lot. So I played a whole bunch of that against bots, just screwing around in there. Played with the editor a little bit, kind of made a shitty level, just screwing around. And then I played a bunch of Unreal 3 against bots because none of the servers are public anymore because Epic pulled them all. So if you own this stuff on Steam already, you can still play them, but it's all instant action and bot stuff. Or in the case of our server for 99, that's all.
It seems crazy they wouldn't run a server too. Like, considering how much revenue they have, they can afford to have like a museum team or something like that. It's
right.
Crazy.
Exactly. And that's what I think that's what the Unreal 3X plan was. That's what that project was. I don't know why it stopped. There's no other info about what happened. It just went away. The listing for 3 on Steam still says, "Don't worry, we'll be back." Like they left hints about they were coming back, and it was all talked about, and then poof, nothing. Zip.
I went to see if I had it in my Steam library, any of the Unreal games, and apparently I do, because it looks like I got Unreal Gold, Tournament Game of the Year 2004, 3, and 2, The Awakening. And I selected Tournament Game of the Year edition, and I just scrolled down a little bit in community content, and there's just some Steam user that has chosen to highlight, they have some stained glass portraits of naked women in Unreal Tournament. Someone just took a screenshot of that and has it proudly posted on Steam for everybody to see.
Wow.
In fact, there's actually 2 of them. There's 2 people that are like, yeah, this is what I want to post for my community pictures.
Yeah, let it rip, man. Why not, I say. Yeah, there are faithfuls. I'm one of them. I love these. I love this series, and I cannot believe the company who has made billions of dollars off of a very successful franchise with Unreal, and then calling the engine that Unreal started, calling it the Unreal Engine. And anytime anybody says the word Unreal 5, we all stop what we're doing to see what the hell's going on, because we're so excited about what's coming up with Unreal. What will it look like this time? How many games are using it? Blah, blah, blah. And they don't have one Unreal game available to buy anywhere on any platform, including their own. It makes no
insane.
sense to me.
Yeah.
Just no sense. So I'm sure there are people there that would like to do this. I don't know what holds them back. Does Tencent get involved and say F off? I don't know.
Every time they try, they get told they have to make another Fortnite skin.
Well, it does. I mean, the new Unreal project, which they were working on right before that took off, that is what happened. That whole team got moved to Fortnite because the Battle Royale took over, and that was the end of that. And that website's still up and saying it's in alpha and they're working on it, but they're not. So it just feels like I want to go to Tim Sweeney and just go, dude, what are you doing? This is your baby. This was what started it all. We are nowhere without this. Please just give people, you know what? No, you don't have to do anything special. Just make it so their games can connect to servers and play each other. That's it.
Yeah, just put it back out. And if they need a business plan for it, because I understand, like, okay, well, we got to sell them on the business, make a big deal out of it, and then put these skins in Fortnite and sell them.
Yeah. I
Sell
feel like
them to me.
you're
I'll
nailing
buy
it.
them. I'll buy your stupid Unreal Tournament skins in Fortnite.
Yeah. No,
Or say, hey, if you install Unreal, if you install the original Unreal Tournament Game of the Year edition, you get this skin in Fortnite from the game. Like, all right, cool.
yeah.
Do it.
Hell yeah. That's a great idea. We have a solution to the problem. And I know it's not going to take much. You could have one dude make this happen there. Like the code's done. Just use this engine. The 3 is great. It's beautiful. Use 3. I don't care. You don't have to make a brand new one if you don't want to. But just give me a place to go to play with my friends. I forgot how cool the Warzone modes are, Assault and Onslaught, and these kind of big, huge, crazy team open world stuff they made for both 2004 and 3. What they did in 3 just as refinements on that stuff. The 4 stuff's just as good, but these big team modes are crazy. The football-like game where you had to throw that ball around and try to attack their base with it, super fun. It just pissed me off. It just made me mad this week.
Just
so anyway,
add this shit to Fortnite. You've created in Fortnite a self-promotion machine. You actually, as the makers of Fortnite, you kind of get to decide what people get excited about. They could literally do a season and call it the Season of the Unreal and put in a bunch of Unreal models, put in the Redeemer as a weapon in Fortnite temporarily. They love their big super weapons that only exist for like a couple months.
Yep.
Put in the Instagib cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Like just do it.
Yeah.
And like people will get excited about it. And people will go, oh, where's this from? Oh, it's from this old game Unreal Tournament. And then people will be excited about it.
They would be excited about it. And you know what? I just realized maybe you actually have the answer to what they're doing and they're just not telling us. And this is what I'm hopeful for. They now have Fortnite as basically a storefront for other games, right? Because they got the Lego thing. And it's all in the game, but you're either playing Fortnite or you're playing the Lego thing, you're playing the rhythm game. They're already kind of starting to do that. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe Fortnite is a portal to Unreal style or straight up Unreal arena play. And if it is, great. But talk about it and get going and quit dicking around. Okay?
Scott's not getting any younger. He wants to play some new Unreal.
That's right.
Damn it.
That's exactly right. So anyway, I'm having a blast with it all, and I love it all. And even just playing against like skilled bots in 3 is still fun. It's just fun as shit. It's just a great game, and I just miss these objective based Twitch shooters. I really do. And I want them. I want more. And they're also, you know what, even be better? I'd be fine if somebody came along and said, I don't know, the Larians of the world, somebody smart who has so much passion for a certain genre would come out and just say, we've made an arena shooter, and it's because we loved Quake and we loved Unreal, and no one's making those. So now we are. And here's how we're innovating, and here's what we did different, and it's $29, and go play right now. And I'd do it. But nobody's doing that. Like both those Doom games, those are amazing games. 2016 and Doom Eternal, fantastic games. Guess what? Their multiplayer modes interest me not at all, because they're not this. I want capture the flag. I want deathmatch. I want team deathmatch. I want capture and hold. I want the Instagib facing world shit. I want what I want.
I guess Halo Infinite's doing that though, right?
Yeah, they have some of that, but
not the same.
Yeah, and you don't really get to control it because the Forge you kind of do. Like you can do stuff with your friends or whatever that's very specific, but going back to running this server, this UT99 server has been this reminder of, oh, right, we used to be able to command line anything we wanted to do. You guys want to vote for the next map? Great. Now we're on a rotation that you voted for. Do y'all want to try a mutator? You know,
It's still taking a lot of control out of the player's hands. They try to sell it to you like you got a lot of control, but
Yeah,
you're like,
and you
we
really
used to have
don't.
way more.
Yeah, you really don't. And in a game like it's especially egregious in Quake Champions because while there's a lot about that game I think has it right, Quake Champions is not Quake. It's a free to play game as a service that
I mean, they're trying to replicate the MOBA model in shooters. That's been a because we talk a lot about Warcraft being successful, but League was or maybe even still is a money hose. You know, so
yeah.
those kinds of principles applied to the arena shooter aren't really that great, but they've been shoehorning it in. Like Overwatch is a great example of that.
Yeah.
There's their double chance. Get
Double chance.
Unreal in there and Quake, and finally have Unreal v Quake in a single game.
Oh
Put
shit!
it both in Fortnite.
Oh yeah, like Marvel versus SNK or whatever. Like
Yeah.
Oh, I like that, dude.
Unreal versus Quake. That's
Get that eyeball guy running around against the green power
half
armor
of it.
looking dude.
Half the game's in the Unreal Engine, half's in the id Tech engine.
Yeah,
do it.
Like
It'd be crazy.
just mash. You're just running both engines while you play the game for no reason.
People love cinematic universes now.
Yeah,
the Unreal Cinematic Universe. I love it. I'd be all in on that. Like whatever. I just know they have the chops. They have certainly the engine. They have the experience and they have the name. Like, why are you not doing this? I don't. It may not be Fortnite money, but Unreal 2004, which was only a PC game, that made a lot of money.
Their financiers are in charge, and they're boring, and they don't know. They don't know what's up and down.
I mean, those 10
seems to be a recurring theme. I like across all these big companies that we love, have fun nostalgia for. They have no idea.
Yeah, and I swear, when I think of Tencent, I think of these like Yakuza-like guys sitting around an office, right? I'm not. It's not just because they're Asian. I don't mean just that, but just like
the Leo Meng or whatever.
Yeah, or what's the Chinese underground thing? Whatever.
Well, Leo Meng is like from Yakuza, like a dragon. I don't know if that's the name of the mafia everywhere, but it's the only name I know for Chinese mafia.
Well,
Chinese Leo Meng.
When I see them just sitting around going, what? I don't care about Unreal Tournament. What I care about is skins, more skins. Like, I don't know what they're saying, but whatever it is they're saying,
stock prices are not going to go up by themselves. We got to do something. We got to do things.
That is a fair point. Anyway, played a lot of that. I also played a ton more Dark Tide. This is Bo's fault. I think that game is so much better than it was at launch, and I'm really enjoying it.
Still playing your sharpshooter, or
I am. Although I was tempted to make a big old Titan dude.
The Ogren are pretty fun.
Ogren, but what's the class? Titan, right?
It's Ogren. They're called Ogrens.
Oh, what's the class though, or is it the same?
That's the class. It's Ogren.
It is Ogren.
They don't have a thing. Yeah, they're just their own.
Okay.
It's like first edition D&D where the dwarf is a race and a class. You're dwarf.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Yeah, I was tempted and I didn't do it, but I played a bunch of randos with some people I didn't know, and that's actually an okay experience. The game lets you communicate kind of everything you need to without being on voice, and as long as people aren't really stupid, it goes fine.
People who play that game, because it's a smaller population, all tend to know what they're doing. Yeah. There's very little griefing or it's like stupidity. Usually it's me. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
Although I felt like kind of a weirdo because I got in just to do. I'm like, oh, I'll just do level. What's the first level called? It's the easiest level. I don't know the name.
I don't even know. I play it so little, like Sedition, maybe?
Something like that. Anyway, whatever it is, I do that, and it puts me in a plane with these 4 other guys, or 3 other guys, and they're all in their skivvies like they're brand new characters. And I'm all,
no one
plays. I got decked out helmets, and I got all my cool bling and everything, and I just look like such a hoser.
You got to play on Malice difficulty. Malice is like 3 of 5. That's like the baseline where it's like it's easy enough to be casual, but you'll have challenging moments and stuff too.
Yeah.
So,
well, anyway,
I recommend 3.
Great time in there. Got a bunch of levels, unlocked a bunch of shit. Still, I think I'm going to keep at that. Although it sounds, I don't know. It sounds like this itch is going to get scratched by Helldivers if I can finally grab it. So,
it might be short lived. We're gonna see. We have to see later.
Yeah,
it lives in the same house. That's for sure.
Yep. I wish it all lived in the 40K universe. Kind of does in a aesthetic way, but they don't have the license.
Helldivers. I'm gonna give everyone a sneak preview. It's pretty much the scrapped StarCraft 4-person shooter.
Whoa, really?
Well, let's wait and find out. I'll tell you more when it's my turn.
Are there ultralisks and zerglings and
You
things
can't
like
ask
that?
questions. It's not his turn yet. You're
All
not
right.
allowed to ask.
All right, fine. I also
He
played.
legally can't answer you right now,
Oh.
Scott. The rules of the show say.
All right, his lawyer's advising him to keep quiet until he gets there. Well, that's fine because I'm going to tell you guys about a cool, amazing little Metroidvania I picked up that is not technically out yet, but you can buy it soon. Hits on March 1st. I got early access to it from the devs. It is called the Mobius Machine, and it is this really here. I'll put up some videos. You guys can see it.
The main character run around going, "It's Morbin time."
It
all the
never
time.
once says it's Morbin time. Thank goodness. This never happens.
No, it's not in there. Not even a single time.
Not even a little. You're this little guy in a spacesuit. There's a little story being told too. It's mostly being told by text and robots and stuff like that. I don't want to give that stuff away. It's worth seeing on your own if you're going to grab it. But you start out with, basic shooting ability, and eventually and pretty quickly you'll find things like a double jump or, the things you do in Metroidvanias to improve your character, ways of generating health and then bettering your ammo, or being able to blow up obstacles you couldn't before because you've gone far enough and now you can backtrack. And it's got a map that's very, it's a Metroidvania in every sense. What really sets it apart for me is tone and the look of the thing. It's
Love the look. As
yeah.
I'm looking at.
Really, I don't even know how to describe it. Just chunky, lots of particle effects.
It's like you're watching action figures play. Like
That's
got
good. Yeah.
got a very real tactile feel, but not realistic in the sense of it looks like real world. It looks like little toys playing out.
Yeah, like toys shooting. That's a good way of putting it. And the enemies are like that too. They're all crazy animated, lots of variety. There's like a tutorial zone that just tells you how stuff will behave when you shoot at it. So you learn what materials are breakthroughable, which ones will disappear if you stand on them, how to use your weapons to do certain things. You upgrade your weapon over time, obviously. There is just a very consistent art style throughout. It's just very beautifully rendered. Speaking of Unreal 5, I think this is in that engine. It's very pretty. And it's awesome so far. I was told I have an NDA I signed that I cannot talk too much about the story, so I'm avoiding talking about that at all. But I do think there's some strength to the story. I'll say that about it. And if you like Metroidvanias and unlocking shit and doing it in really nice graphical style, I think this is going to be a big hit. Watch for it on March 1st. And it's called the Mobius Machine. It's very cool.
They let you have a little tease of it, is what they did.
They did. They gave me a little bit of a tease, and they said, in the paperwork, they said, just don't tell anyone about how the story ends. I'm like, well, I play arcade games I play video games like an arcade. I don't finish them before I talk about them. So
yeah, I was going to say, they know you're not going to finish this game.
The irony is,
please don't talk about how the game ends. Won't be a problem.
Yeah, will not be a problem.
I promise you I won't know.
Not by the first anyway. I may, this may be one of those I finish because I like it that much, but it's really cool. And it's missing cloud saves for the version I have. That's not going to be the case when it launches. So it's the only thing I would say about my time with the Steam Deck. I had to start a new save to play it there, but I'm happy to report this thing looks so good on there. Maybe it was the OLED screen. I don't know, but man, it looked good on there. Anyway, it's very cool. If you like Metroidvanias, watch for this one. Should be on your radar. The Mobius Machine coming out on the 1st. And then I play a little game that I've been trying to get a hold of for a long time, but it was never on the right sale. And I was always just like, do I really have time to play this right now? It was just never fit. And finally, I grabbed a game called Black Skylands. And this is a small, relatively indie title that is, you're basically sky pirates. You're pirates in the sky, and you fly a little ship around, and you do pirate things. And there's you come from a whole culture of people who live in the sky. There is no ground to these people, and your ship is always off floating around trying to either have ship-to-ship combat or land on a big hunk of land where the land's floating. It's like floating islands, and you get on these floating islands and you do missions and progress story and unlock stuff and find loot and all this sort of thing. The combat in the game feels a lot like what would I compare this to? Almost Hotline Miami, but without the threat of dying every 2 seconds. But
Okay.
it's kind of top down, quick, pixelated shooting and a lot of blood and explosions and stuff. It's cool. It's a really cool game. I don't know how else to describe it other than it's got that loop I like of go to that island, get that stuff we need, bring it back here. Now the warlord's mad, so we're gonna have to go fight him on his terms. And there's a little boss fight you got to worry about, and you got a grappling hook, and that helps you get around places that look like they're impossible to get to. The ship to ship stuff's really fun. You got to keep track of your the condition of your boat, kind of pirate ship like. So you got to do repairs when they need them and that sort of thing. You need to make sure it's fueled up, that kind of stuff. And it's been out for a bit, but I really like it, and glad I was finally able to grab it. I think it was on sale for like $9, and I'm like, well, that's stupid. Let's get it. So I did. More on that later. I just really like it. That's it. Black Skylands is the game. John, let's talk about where you are with.
Oh, wait, a question for you.
Go ahead.
So this is a big week. Skull and Bones came out. You didn't give it a try?
I haven't tried it yet.
It's out tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Oh,
So
it's not out yet? It's tomorrow?
I didn't do the beta.
They did a preview. They did a preview thing, and I think
Oh.
there's an early access going right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That might have been a news story I wanted to talk about was Ubisoft calling it the first quadruple A game.
Oh, that was last week, but yeah, they did say that.
Yeah,
That's
it was
annoying.
Last week. It was a stupid ass
It's a
thing.
really
to say.
stupid thing
It
to say.
doesn't even mean it. Quadruple A doesn't mean anything. It's not like it's like quality tier per A. It's like I think it's taken from beef, and it's just like it's a quality grading having
Yeah.
to do with how much marbling is on the beef.
Yeah, it's
Like
annoying.
if it's AAA, it's low marbling. If it's just A, then there's a lot of fat marbling on there. That's it.
That's all it is.
I don't
It's
know.
stupid.
I don't even know how it got applied to game development, but it's not like one A is like a unit of quality.
No,
it's
that
like,
is what it
there's
means
four-
now because
there's four A's in
Ubisoft has invented quadruple A gaming, bro. They
Wow.
invented it.
Yeah, so get used to it, I guess.
We live in the era now where you can have a
Well,
quadruple
I don't
video
like
game.
quadruple A games. I like quintuple A games.
Yeah,
Oh shit! When are we getting one of those?
you're gonna have to wait. Sorry about
Hard
that.
to wait for video games. There's so
Yeah, I
few
was
of them.
hunting. It's funny, John, you say that because I was hunting around for reviews today because I thought maybe Skull and Bones would have some early reviews by now since it's coming out tomorrow. And there really isn't much. There's beta impressions, and they kind of all are over the place. People are like, it's great. It reminds me of Black Flag. I'm so stoked for this, to this is just like Black Flag. Let's have some innovation. There's just like a lot of differing opinions on if it's truly fun or not. I still have high hopes for it, but I really need to just sort of get some consensus from trusted voices before I jump in on this one. And if I do,
Does not. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say I'll probably get the PlayStation version because I don't want to do Epic on this one. I don't like how Ubisoft games work through the Epic store. They're annoying, so I'm not doing that. And it's not on Steam, so.
Yeah, I keep looking it up on Steam, and I'm like, it's not here. And I'm like, okay, pass. Like,
Ubi's
I don't
got
wanna
their
open Epic.
Yeah, Ubi's got their they got some deal with Epic, and they just don't.
I guess I could open up Ubi though. I have Ubi installed. I don't mind their launcher per se.
Their launcher's
maybe-
okay.
The first thing you see when you log in, starting at $89.99.
Jeez.
Whoa.
Skull and Bones.
Hold on,
Man,
starting at?
Helldivers is like half that.
Did you
Just
say
play
st-
Helldivers?
Did you say starting at 89? Is that really the
Yeah,
base?
that's what I said. No, there is a base version that is $60.
Okay.
But the version that is advertised front and center is the $90 platinum edition.
Well, they can eat a rock. I'm not doing that. Freaking F that. Especially if I don't know what the game's like yet. So I don't know. I still have high hopes for it. I want it to be good. I want to believe. That's my X-Files this week, is that. I want to believe that game is good and good enough for me to want to play it and pay money for it, but I got to wait till tomorrow. So we will see what people say about it. John, tell us about your time in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Yeah, I finished 2 games this week.
Whoa.
I completed the story, at least, of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I am not like Bo. I have a very hard time when I get into the narrative. saying, okay, but before I do that, let me go to an island and start building up a resort town.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult for me to step away. That said, I did do a lot of side activities in the game. I felt very good about what content I did do. But I did complete the main story of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth at a fantastic time. I will say I don't think the story is quite as good as the original Yakuza Like a Dragon, but I still thought it was very, very strong and had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, beyond that, I would just have to get into spoilers to talk about the stuff. Everything I've said about the game still applies. It applied all the way through. It is a fantastic game. The way they figured out the combat for this game is so good. Like to me, the way they have made the combat turn-based yet engaging is something that I would recommend, top level RPG makers take a look at. I was still having fun with the combat system, even though it is very traditional turn based. By the time I finished the game, as I was at the start, like they really made an excellent combat system without feeling completely different from what was there the first time.
Wow.
So that's really all I have to say about it. Still plugging away at it as far as side content. But most of that stuff I'll just probably go to later. And then I also finished that puzzle game Boxes that I had talked about.
Oh, yeah, you were. Man, that sounded great the way you described that. How did it go?
Well, it ended to be continued. Apparently, this is a series.
All right.
Apparently, they're going to keep making a bunch of these. But it was exactly what I wanted. It was a series of puzzles, and I had a great time solving them. There's even a point where my family came into the room as I was trying to wrap up a puzzle, and everybody gathered around and started trying to solve puzzles together. So apparently it's immediately engaging to others as well, because everyone just kind of settled up in my room, sat around in a semicircle, and started barking orders at me on what to click and what to do. But I had a lot of fun with that too. It was short. It's not the longest experience in the world. I mean, I guess it kind of depends on how quickly and motivated you are to solve puzzles, but I thought it had a really slick look to it. It felt really good to play the game. And I don't think there's much more you could ask for in this type of game than that. So.
Nice. It looks cool. I wish listed it and then bought the other one. The original is on sale, and I thought, well, I should, or not original. The game they were
Doors.
Yeah, Doors. Yeah. I thought, well, I'll give that a try because it was really cheap, and then I'll make a decision. I just haven't cracked it open yet, but it looked neat. So I bet my daughter would love that game. Maybe I'll gift it. Cool. There's Boxes. Man, you look at you finishing games left and right. Good Lord.
I know.
Bo.
All right.
I finished Unreal 99 this week, by the way. I finished it. So
you finished it?
Finally, all
Does
these
it
years
have a campaign
later.
in it?
Yeah, it does.
It
but
does, yeah.
I beat
Oh,
that a
okay.
long time ago.
I didn't know that.
It's more
I
of
think
like
I had it at one point and played a little bit, but I have memories of it, but not strong ones.
There is a boss fight at the end too. It's kind of interesting. You go against the grand champion, the previous tournament winner. You got to face him.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of. I mean, the game. It really is just a series of bot matches. It's not really much of a campaign.
Oh, it's like playing Mortal Kombat or something.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah. The 3 they made, or 4 and 3 they made it a little bit more. 2004 and 3. Made it a little bit more meaty on the story side, but at the end of the day, it was still sort of a series of matches in the single player. It was more about multiplayer, but anyway.
I still say it counts as finishing a game, though.
Yeah.
If a fighter game or game like that has a campaign mode and we're scoring game completions here for the year, I think it counts. Did we talk about which one of you two finished more games in 2023? Or was that just a 2022 only thing?
No, I don't think we got into it because it didn't. Scott wasn't bold enough to claim he was beating games left and right, and I certainly slowed down as well.
I beat some games, but I don't think I came close to John.
There's $1 million question. There's only one game I want to know about. Did you beat Ghosts of Tsushima?
Well, no, because that game doesn't exist. But Ghosts of Tsushima, yes. No, that's not true. I didn't beat that either.
No, he still hasn't beaten it.
Still haven't beaten it.
2 years ago, he claimed he was going to absolutely beat it.
But I
and
did.
Sparked the whole competition to begin with.
That's how this all started, was that game.
I beat Horizon Zero Dawn. and I'm well into Horizon Forbidden West.
Okay.
And I told myself when I beat that, I will then go finish Ghost of Tsushima, which I don't think I'm that far from beating, honestly. I think I'm actually pretty close. So that would be cool if I could just wipe my whole PlayStation 5 slate clean, with the exception of Final Fantasy 16, and just say I did it all.
With that one exception.
Except for that one, Oh, John, you would have loved it. We did on this week's Greg Street podcast, the Word on the Street that we did.
Yeah.
We had our guest that was on. She was awesome. And I asked her what games are inspiring her currently on questions about combat and how story is delivered in a combat heavy game and this sort of stuff. And just trying to squeeze out of them where their inspirations are coming from for this MMO. And she said Final Fantasy, and I expected her to say 14, but she didn't. She said 16, and then she just went deep into why she was a huge fan, and I almost said John would love you, but then that was creepy.
I actually saw it, and I appreciated your restraint not to immediately go the second she said it.
Yeah, I wanted her to have her moment, and I didn't want to poo-poo on it, but also
it was nice of you to be respectful of your guest, Scott.
Yeah, she's really great. Candace is her name, Candace Thomas. If you haven't heard the episode, you should check it out. She's really cool. I like her a lot.
No, it was a very good interview. I was there. I didn't see all of it, but I think I showed up somewhere in the back half of it. And
Nice.
It was very interesting. It continues to be very interesting. I think whether or not you're even interested in the game they're making, it's a fascinating examination of the things that are being considered. I mean, I've always said on the show, I believe that, I'm kind of interested in bottom line for people. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what a developer had to go through. If the game is good, the game is good. If the game is bad, it's bad. But the caveat I always put on that is I think it is valuable for people to figure these things out. And I think that is a really good way to go and figure out the things that devs think about and consider. And if you do want to give consideration to that sort of stuff, that podcast is fantastic.
Yeah, check it out. 4 episodes in. Next month, I think Halinka's coming on. Brian Halinka, finally. I'm very excited to talk to him.
I like Halinka. I've met him once.
He's great.
And he was very nice.
Yeah, nicest dude you'd ever meet at BlizzCon. Now he's with these guys and doing cool stuff. So very excited about that. You can find it at frogpants.com/street. And they're 4-hour-long episodes. 4 1-hour-long episodes. Not like one of our one episode, 4 hours long episode. Not like that.
4.
Yeah.
It's a third of ours, but it's 3 times the quality probably.
Yeah. You could take today's pre-show and today's episode and have about as much content as we've done for that entire 4-month project over there.
It's like core. It's like core, but the people actually know how to make games.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're great, though.
These guys do a 4-hour-long podcast. They have the gall to say that Microsoft doesn't know how to make an entertaining show.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to tell
true.
you guys, just to tell you this because I think it's cool. I cannot tell you. Maybe I can tell you, but I don't think I'm not going to. I just don't know if I'm supposed to. But our buddy Liam O'Brien has been traveling heavily, and let's say it's in places far flung from here.
Uh-huh.
That's all I'll say.
I immediately thought Mushroom Kingdom. So just so in case you're worried, I might guess. Nope, is the answer.
Nope.
Not gonna happen.
This is an actual city in the world. I'll say it that way, and it's also very exotic. I'll say that. And he was there for a whole bunch of cool reasons. But he said that catching up on core was how he got through all the traveling. Was because of the show.
God.
Awesome.
I'm
Isn't that
sorry.
nice? Isn't that?
He listened to one show. It got him to the other side of the planet.
He had to
You
charge
guys
his
do
phone.
one a year, right? Like they're like Marvel annuals.
Yeah. About halfway through the trip, he's like, flight attendant, do you have a way to charge this phone? I've burned it out on this show. That's too long. Well, anyway.
That's great. I love Liam.
He's the best.
It's nice that he listens because Illidan is my favorite Blizzard character, and I've played a bajillion games of Illidan and Heroes.
He's
and
nice too because
his voice is like imprinted into my brain.
Yeah.
Like
You are his stripes or something.
it's great.
Scars.
Crash and dive.
Scars.
Well, he doesn't say that, but he says feel the pain. Feel the pain of 10,000 years.
Yeah, man.
And you every time you press that dive button, you get to hear him yell that, and I hear it in my sleep sometimes. It's great.
He's awesome, and I never have to fish for this stuff. He just will text me and say, "Hey, you guys said this on Core. I thought this was interesting," or he'll have some commentary about it. But anyway, so Liam, if you're listening, we hope we're getting you through another.
I just love when I
trip.
run into people who talk about Critical Role, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm like 2 degrees away, you know. But I don't say anything. I'm not like bragging about it or anything. It's just funny.
Yeah,
because they don't. Most people in my life don't realize I do a podcast or that people listen. Like they believe it, but they just have like. It just seems weird.
It's the same.
It's
the same with me.
I just sit in my house all day and play video games, and your assumption about someone like that is they're not doing well in life.
My mom, my mom doesn't really know what I do, and I've been doing this for almost 20 years. She still doesn't know. She doesn't get it. So
it's like, man, those Critical Role guys are amazing, and I'm like, yeah, they sure are.
They sure are.
To be fair, that's what bugs my wife too. Is we'll watch something and I'll go, "Oh, Scott has met him," or "Oh, I've met that person," or "I've talked to that person," or "Oh, that person's a listener," or something like that. And she'll go, "How do you know so many people? You don't leave the house."
Yeah, it does sound like bullshit when you put it that way.
Yeah, well, we're all in this little aquarium together, and so you meet your fellows that way. I don't know.
It's the internet. Welcome.
The internet. Thanks, internet. All right, Bo, finally, Helldivers 2.
All right, it's time for... I'm not paid for this advertisement, but it is an advertisement nonetheless, I suppose. But, yeah. So, where shall we begin?
Well, let's talk about your hesitancy toward it first, because you were kind of on the fence quite a bit.
We've seen this game in numerous shows, right? Like the shows we get together and watch and kind of be assholes about because it's funny. You know, it's like, oh look, he said the humble bundle or whatever. You know, it's like, who cares about the game he showed? He said humble bundle, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one's, you know, it's made some waves, like as it's led up to release. But as it's released, like, look, I got a shitload of games. I'm playing WoW for some dumb reason.
Yeah.
I mean, for very good reasons. But
sorry, I had to play it.
Yeah.
You have it? I didn't know you still had it. Play it one more time. I just need a clear.
Here you go. Nice clear one.
I made a song or someone. There's a song of that somewhere. Didn't I send it to you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. I captured it from the original video.
I think I put a drum beat to it, but I don't know where it is.
Interesting.
But anyways, whatever. Yeah, so this game, but you know, there's a ton of games. I got lots on the go. Like a Dragon, right? I'm still in Chapter 8. I got blah, 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 80 games on my to-do list that I bought and haven't even played yet. Like all things, you're like, okay, you know, guys, I've played a 4-player co-op shooter before. You know, Warframe always wants me to play it. Destiny always wants me to play it, and those are old as shit now.
Yeah.
And then there's always new ones every year, and 80% of them are garbage, or 20% of them are like not quite the flavor of shooter I want, like Darktide, right? Just like, yeah, I want this, but I don't want this. You know, it's like middling or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to play Helldivers 2. But this is what happened. Scott's like, should I buy Helldivers 2? I'm looking at Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
And Kyle's then like, hey guys, Helldivers 2, anyone playing it? It looks cool. And I don't know if you said anything, John. I don't know if I can implicate you, but there's definitely been people.
I think I was after you said you picked it up, but I think I said I had been considering getting it too, because that's exactly where I was. I was like, you know, I'm kind of interested, but I don't know anybody who's played it yet.
And it's also my chat room, because I stream, and they're like, have you tried this game? You tried this game? People were like, oh, Helldivers 2. So finally I just got sick of it. And I'm like, somebody's got to try this. I have to stop seeing the question. I don't know if I should get Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
And nobody having a response. I'm like, I will answer this question for everyone.
Yeah.
Let me buy it. And you will see in our chat, like when I was first writing about this, I was like, man, I like Darktide Binner for the first little bit. But every mission I've gone on, this game has grown on me more and more for various reasons, to the point now where I'm like, I'm hyped. My pants are blown off with how hyped I am to play this game. It's janky. It's not early access, but there's definitely bugs and problems. There's stuff people will not like about this game. But overall, yes, there's a Starship Troopers 16-player co-op game that is negatively reviewed, and this is a better Starship Troopers game. It's a better, since Blizzard didn't release their StarCraft shooter game. It is the StarCraft shooter game. You're basically space marines and you're killing bugs and automatons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a lot of good sauce in it, little touches. And let's talk about a few of these little touches. First of all, the developers are the guys who made Magicka.
Yeah, they are. Swedish
If you
guys.
remember what made Magicka fun, it was that instead of just casting spells, you had to input codes to cast spells, like with 8 buttons.
Yeah.
And you played it 4 players co-op, which means you could make mistakes and cast the wrong spell or mess up, right? And one of the cool things you could do is you could combo the spells with other spellcasters to do big damage. But the game had full friendly fire, and you're casting crazy spells, so you might accidentally launch a comet on your teammate instead of killing the enemy. Full friendly fire. So what have these developers been up to? Well, they made a Gauntlet game apparently at one point, and they made Helldivers 1, which passed by me, but was, all intents and purposes, well reviewed, and this game, and that's pretty much it. And they haven't changed. Full friendly fire in this game, boys. So this game is full of things called like orbital strikes. Like not just one type of orbital strike. You can launch a loadout with 4 different types of orbital strikes. If your teammates are standing in the orbital strike zone, they will get blown up. You will die because of teammates. Sometimes the teammates are more deadly than the damn enemies. And if someone walks in front of your gunfire, you will kill them. There's full.
So not
full
like it's
friendly
not like
fire.
Is it a really? There's no like percentage drop in friendly fire. It's like straight up like you're gonna die.
No, see, you were just showing a video. That guy walked on one of my mines that I laid like an hour earlier in the mission, and he just died.
All right.
And see, I'm walking through my mines because they'll blow me up too.
Yeah.
So it is full 100% friendly fire. I've seen 2 guys grief each other to death and then leave the game because they got so pissed because they just got in one of those moods. It's fun. It's funny. So you have to embrace that about this game. It makes it good, but not everyone has the patience or temperament for a game like that. But if you're playing with friends and people are being chill, it's not a problem. Hey guys, I'm calling down an orbital strike. Okay, let me run out of the way. Like you can coordinate this stuff. But so that's secret sauce number 1 is full friendly fire. Secret sauce number 2 is so you know how in shooter games you have to pick up ammo?
Yeah.
Well, what if you have a capital ship in orbit that can just launch whatever you need down at you? Need a res? Beep boop beep beep boop. All right, your teammates just firing back down. Need some ammo? Beep boop beep beep boop in your res controller. Pew. Need a better gun? Beep boop beep beep boop. Great. Need orbital strikes? Beep boop beep beep boop. Need gun installations and Gatling, like all kinds of shit. There is so much shit that you can launch from your capital ship. It's the main mechanic of the game, and the way they have you do it is you don't open up the radio and go, "Hey, please send me a light machine gun, please." Nope, you got to press up, up, down, down, left, right, and if you screw it up, well, it goes and you got to do it again. And what's great is like when enemies are bearing down on you and you're trying to call down like an orbital strike to save yourself, it's hard to like get the right code. They show the code on the screen, but you're like up, down, up, left, right, right. Oh shit, no, up, left, no, aliens, no. You're trying to punch in to get the orbital strike in. It's a great mechanic in this game. The fact that you have to punch in codes in your wrist in order to launch the orbital strikes or get ammo and equipment and stuff, and to even res people. You don't. In most games, you got to run up to them and like, oh, I'm gonna press E and heal you. This is like, nope, beep boop beep beep boop. Let me res all my teammates all at once, and then it fires down. It's great.
Wow. Wow.
The third thing that makes this game incredible, and a cut above, is the loading screen. How many games have a loading screen that you think about after you're done playing the game?
Very few. Most of the time I'm annoyed. Like today, I was annoyed with Dark Tides, and I was annoyed with, I got into Halo for a little bit, and they have horrible load times on Halo Infinite on PC.
Yes.
So yeah, I usually, oh my gosh, I just saw one of the code you talked about. Holy shit.
Yeah, you got to go, dee. It's part of the tension. Okay, so side note, because this is also wicked. the graphics on the orbital strikes are amazing. Like, it's not just like, oh, here's a big laser. It's like kaboom, 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 kaboom. Like, it's so everything shakes and like everything dies.
Isn't there like a tactical nuke or something? I've seen something like
there's
that.
nuke, there's Gatling gun. You can drop smoke, gas, fire. You can drop everything. Like, you can literally shoot everything from your damn ship. Oop, there, I died from someone's orbital strike. Getting rezzed is real quick. It's not like it's a pain in the ass. Like, that guy's punching in the code and getting us res right away. No big deal.
Right.
You do have a limited number of reses. That's sort of where the
whoa, you come in again on a drop ship? That's cool. Or on a pod?
So, all right, hang on. Let me talk about the third thing. How many games have a loading screen that you love?
Yeah, none.
This game has probably the best loading screen I can remember for a long time. So here's how the game loop works. You log into the game, you get an advertisement for Democracy and Super Earth, and you watch it for the 100th time because you're not a terrorist, and it's awesome. And so you watch the intro cinematic every time you log into the game and feel bad when you skip it. Then you get onto your ship, like Warframe. You have your own ship. You can name your ship. My ship's called the Ombudsman of Family Values. You have to pick from a list, but you can call your ship like the Sword of Justice, or there's a list of 2 different nouns that you call it. Then you go to the map. You pick a mission. You step into a little like launch. It's basically a bullet-shaped launch pod. And in case you missed it, this game is very America themed. You're from Super Earth. You're spreading democracy because the alien bugs don't know about democracy. So we're there to learn them. Yeah. When you're ready to pick the mission, everyone's picked their loadouts and options. 4 giant bullets, which contain you guys, the Helldivers, fire onto the planet, and that's the loading screen. The music goes da, 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 and 4 bullets are just like cresting the atmosphere on fire, like, and the game's loading. That's it right there. Like, this epic music's playing, and you're like, da, 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 and you are so hyped to spread democracy. When the loading screen's done, you land right into the map. Boom, there you go.
Okay. And you're playing with randos, I assume, or bots, or
you can play with, basically, the game's very hard solo. You basically just load up a mission. This is one of the things that's kind of broken right now. It's hard. The matchmaking's been kind of wonky. They're working on fixing it. Yeah. But basically, you pick a mission and you wait on your ship, and people will load into your mission, or you can join SOSs from other player groups, or join other players' missions and then join their ship, and then all 4 of you launch together on the same ship and go through that loading screen together with the epic democracy music. It's pretty great. And then you land.
I really am impressed with the use of fog and smoke, and there's a real vibe to it, man.
Let's talk about the gameplay.
Yeah.
This gameplay, it's not just one planet. It's a whole pile of planets. There's an ice planet. There's a Mad Max desert planet. There's a jungle planet. There's a weird lush planet. There's forest planet. And there are lots of, like you talked about the fog. So there's lots of like mutators, so to speak, on the different planets. If it's too cold, like, your weapons will shoot slower because it's too cold. But on hot planets, your laser cannon will heat up a lot faster, so you can't use it for as long. So all the planets have like different mechanical considerations as you go on them, and like hazards. So, and what's great about the maps too is there's a lot to do on them. You know how Darktide is like, it's kind of a corridor shooter, right? You go down the corridor and do the activities.
Yeah.
This, you have a theater of operations. You have your main mission objective and a bunch of side objectives, and you do what you want. You got 45 minutes to extraction, or less. Some of the missions have 10, and you and your team just decide what you're going to hit up while you're down there. Just do the main mission, get all the side missions, and get some medals so you can unlock some more democracy for your character. Then it's great. So the missions themselves are incredibly fun. And last but not least, the game controls really well. It's really a great third-person shooter. Like, you're not like a jetpack jumping Destiny guy or Unreal Tournament guy. Like, you are still kind of human. So you have to dive or crouch to like be quiet, or you can't just like just jump super far away and dodge things. But you can get away. But there's like a learning curve to it. And it controls really great. And last but not least, this game has a jetpack.
Oh, now we're talking.
And jetpacks are definitely, if you put a jetpack in your game, that's a great idea. And you have jetpacks, you can jump over things. And
So this is the first, as far as I can tell, since the old Sony Computer Entertainment days. This is the first PlayStation Games Studios, whatever LLC thing that they do now, where they co-launched a PC title along with a PlayStation 5 exclusive at the same time. I don't think they've ever done this before, so it's kind of a big deal.
Very, very well for them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game is popping too, so that's another thing going for it. It's not, in terms of finding players and that, they made a really good choice not doing this. If this was a PlayStation only, it'd be so sad for us.
Yeah. And so the only complaints I see in a lot of the reviews that are negative are almost all, I crashed 4 times. I broke this.
Yeah.
This doesn't work
Yeah.
yet. So it's really just like we're in a period of fixie McFixie.
It's a
right?
game as a service, and they didn't have any beta to test this stuff out. They just went live, and yeah, there's some problems with matchmaking.
Okay.
But that's about it. I'm going to be playing this right when we're done with the show. I never asked for this. I was like, all of a sudden, I have a game that just takes all the other games I think about or want to play and just put them at a quiet volume, and I just know what I want to do, and it's play this game.
Wow, that's
a lot of fun.
It's a story of like starting with,
Yeah, I didn't think so. And, I was like, oh, it's democracy. I've seen that satire before. Bug aliens, same. It's like when you start playing it and see that they've put the fun in the game and you're having fun, all those concerns kind of.
It's interesting. The guys that made Broforce are also a Scandinavian dev team. It makes me wonder if those guys are just good at like capturing that oversized American rah-rah thing so well that they make it funny and the satire still works even though it's so tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they have a real taste for it.
Well, they've definitely tapped into it because, Bo is no stranger to adopting the personality of the game that he's playing. We've always known that to be him.
Oh, yeah. Since day one.
Like, that was big in the Heroes days. Like, whatever hero came out, Bo would probably be role-playing in our Slack channel after about 5 games. If he played Greymane, he'd be like, "Rawr, rawr," just in all his responses to us.
Yeah.
So Bo falls for the, when he gets into it, he gets into it. But he is not alone. I have seen so many people talk about this game and of course you should play it. That's for democracy. Like so many people role-playing the quote-unquote persona of this game that I think there's absolutely something they're nailing in the mix because it's getting everybody on board.
I'll tell everyone who listens the same thing I told Scott in Slack, in Discord, whatever the hell we use to talk to people.
What do we use anyway?
I'll give him the same, like, should I buy this game?
Yeah.
And I told Scott, and I tell you, you have to ask yourself one question. Are you a terrorist? And if the answer is no, then yes, you have to buy this game.
Okay.
Them's the rules.
That sounds like the rules to me. I'll adhere to your rules. I think I'm just going to get it then. I'm just going to get it.
Yeah. You made this whole review made me so happy I bought this game. Like that's all this did. I still haven't played it, but you made me so happy I bought it.
It's also
it's not without its frustrations. That's why I put that warning up. It's not, but
Sony likes their, expensive game purchases. This is a $39 game. This isn't bad. Like that's the other thing is this is almost budget. Right. And I know I don't think they own the studio outright, but they're taking a major role in publishing it and being a part of this.
Oh, yeah. You see the PlayStation logo when you log in.
Yeah, all the time. That's the funny thing about Steam. When I first saw it, I'd forgotten about the Sony connection. And the video starts playing and it goes boonk and shows the logo for Sony, makes the sound it always makes. And I went, did they screw up and use the PlayStation version for Steam? What is this crap? And then I went, oh, no, this is a Sony joint. And they're simultaneously launching on PC, which they never do.
Let's all reward them with money so they do this with all their other first parties.
It's also like it doesn't have port vibes. Like they took this PlayStation version and you're getting a watered down version. It feels like pretty great for the PC. So,
I've also heard PS5 version is supposed to look real good and play real good. So in fact, I think it's had less technical issues. But it is crossplay, so any of those matchmaking issues are going to probably exist in both places. But anyway, I'm going to get it. That's it. You've convinced me.
It's fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Play with friends. And
Coming
spread
to a
democracy.
core multiplayer Tuesday near you.
Goodbye,
Helldivers
Yep.
2.
Goodbye, $40. It was nice knowing.
Oh
you.
yeah, and make sure to watch the intro video in full. It's like I said, it's one of the best. It's one of the best cinematics I've seen in a little while, just in terms of
The game
how
is
pumped
the
it
game
gets
is.
through
I'm
the game.
watching some of the promo video. The game is
Yeah.
relishing in the fact that you just got resurrected and dropped in a pod. Let's say you, but a player. And as soon as he landed, one of his other players accidentally sniped him right in the head and killed him. And the game is going like, yeah, this game has this feature. Like they're taking things that are kind of trolly and things we don't normally like about Friendly Fire, and they're turning it into part of the game, which I think is kind of innovative. I like that.
It's interesting.
All right, rad game, everybody. Helldivers 2 available now. Helldivers 1 is such a different looking game. It's like a top-down dual stick looking thing. So different than what they did here.
Yeah, it really is. But I mean, it makes me curious about that game, but not enough right now to peel myself off. Two's pretty wicked.
Yeah, good for Arrowhead, although their Gauntlet remake was pretty bad. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, we got something special from John. I don't even know what it is. Don't have any idea.
I mean, you kind of know.
I mean, kind of, but only barely. Like, I still don't really know where you're taking this. So I'm excited for what took him most of his afternoon to work on.
It didn't take that long. It took a little while.
So
more than I spend on Dear Martha, though. That's for sure.
Sure. But we'll find out what it is right along with you fine folks here in a second. We'll be right back. All right. All right. Well, we're back, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and count us back in and do that right now. Hey, everyone. We're back. Welcome back. Now, you might say, don't you guys usually do a Dear Martha right now? The answer today is no. It's something else. And John brought whatever the hell it is, and he'll explain it. So, John, take it away.
Yeah, so yesterday was Valentine's Day, and it made me acutely aware that I follow way too many PR people on Twitter because my feed was full of nothing but our favorite video game characters giving each other Valentines. And it got me on just this track of thinking of all the video game characters over the years that we, the royal we, all of us gamers, have lusted over. So I asked you guys for your 5, not the top 5 necessarily, but 5 video game crushes from each of you in no particular order. I also reached out to the core community and got them to send me some of their video game crushes as well.
All right.
And then I supplied some of my own. So what we are going to do is we are going to take turns looking at images. On these images, each image has 3 characters on it.
Yeah.
Now, for Scott, one of those characters is one of Bo's video game crushes. The other one is a core community member's video game crush. And the third is mine. Your job is to guess which is which. So let's pull up the first image here, and we'll say who is on it. We'll start with Scott.
Okay, so this is the ones you said that were mine, right?
Yeah, so this will be your challenge. So it's your job to answer. So we have Marl from Chrono Trigger. We have Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
And we have Vi from League of Legends.
Okay.
And
is there a point system for how many gets right?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you 3 guesses before I correct it. Each guess subtracts 1 point. Hold on, let me pull up a notepad here so we can keep track.
No worries. We should also have a theme
if
for
you
this.
get it right away, 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a couple guesses, you can get between 2, 1 point, and then after 3, I'm going to just tell you what the answer is.
All right, here we go.
Get it right.
We got a little bit of video game themed game show music.
Now I'm really feeling the Valentine's vibe.
Yeah, oh yeah. Love is in the air, Bo. Love is in the air.
Yeah.
Love is in the air.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that was Super Valentine's.
So you guys can see this,
we
right?
We got these 3. So you have got to pick which one you think came from what source.
All right, and I'm starting, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So,
I think that Bo picked, or sorry, I think you picked girl from Secret of Banner or whatever she's from. What's she from again? What did you say?
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger. You said her. I knew it was Square. I couldn't remember where. I think that's you. I think Astarion is Bo, and I think girl from League is from somebody in the community.
Incorrect.
Shit.
Would you like to take
Just-
another?
There's 3 guesses. Which one's incorrect?
All right.
Well, that's the thing. He gets to make an adjustment. This is now worth 2 points.
Okay.
I see. They're worth less points the more tries he has to do.
Yeah.
Well then, jeez. All right, John. I still think John is the first one.
Okay.
Second one, then I'll say is Bo.
Second one, what?
The
Second
Astarian.
image, Astarian.
Wait, no, I'm
Okay.
back to the same
You
problem.
said that last time.
Yeah.
Don't tell him that. He was gonna pick the exact same thing again.
You're dinging for that stuff?
Well,
Okay.
no, I
but
realized
we'll
it.
give him a same.
I
Yeah.
realized it as we were going here.
Okay.
All right, so I still think John on that one. It must be flipped the other way. So I'll say Bo is the league lady and Astarian is community.
Correct.
Oh,
You
wow.
get 2 points for this image.
All right.
Congratulations.
Bo, you
That's Vi, by the way.
Vi, sorry.
She's
I
the best.
forget
From
these names.
Arcane. And
I loved Arcane,
yeah.
but I don't remember anyone's name.
Yeah, I've got a big crush on Vi.
All right.
All right.
Now
do
what?
Do we want to do all of Scott's or do we want to go and do Bo's first?
Let's
one?
go back and forth. That's fine.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right, Bo, your first image has Liara from Mass Effect. It has Cortana from the Halo series, and it has Candy Kong from Donkey Kong Country.
All right. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
One of these is Scott, one of these is me, and one of these is the core community.
I want
What
to say
do you think it
Scott
is?
picked Candy Kong, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's John is Liara, obviously. Scott is Cortana, and Chat is Candy Kong.
That is correct. 3
Nicely
points
done.
for Bo.
Nicely done, dude. Damn it.
All right.
Also,
Let's-
we're getting trolled by the community if they said Candy Kong. What the hell?
They said Candy Kong. Look, you don't have to justify your answers here. You can if you want. I didn't ask them to.
Okay.
I didn't say it has to be their greatest crush.
All right.
I don't know. She's looking pretty hot.
She's
I gotta
pretty
say.
Candy
hot.
Kong
She's
has
pretty
some
hot.
things going for her.
Yeah, if you're Funky Kong or Crazy Kong, you're in. You're all in on that stuff, that business. All right, my next
All
one
right.
then. Let's see.
Your
what is-
next one, you
Whoops.
have Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3,
Yeah,
Ciri from The Witcher 3,
yeah.
and Lae'zel from Baldur's Gate 3. So a double dipping of Baldur's Gate here.
Okay. I'm going to say Siri. Maybe that's. I'll give her a minute. Karlach, we're going to give to John. Siri to the community, and Lae'zel to Bo.
Correct.
Oh,
3 points to you, Scott. Congratulations.
You're keeping track of these points, right? So we know. Who
I am.
Okay.
I am. So far,
All right. I feel good
tight
about
race.
that. I feel good
Bo's
about that.
ahead. Well, I mean, you're ahead now. You've done a whole extra round, but
Sure.
it's a tight race.
Sure.
All right. Next one up for Bo. We have Tally from Mass Effect. We have Kat from Breath of Fire 2, and we have Pain. Or is it Rain? I always get it mixed up because P and R look exactly the same to me for whatever reason. Is her name Pain? I think it's Pain. From Final Fantasy X-2.
Scott's never played Final Fantasy X-2.
No, I haven't. But I will admit that, when they were
I will
showing off.
say you don't have to have played the game to find the character attractive.
That's true.
No,
Yeah.
that's I guess not. Scott like Liara or not Liara? Tally? I think he said so before, right? I feel like it's a John thing for some reason. I'm going John Tally. I guess Cat Lady for Scott and
Okay.
X2 for the community.
That is incorrect.
Oh. Damn, so Scott, I know Scott does like Tally too. So Scott to Tally, John to Cat Lady, X2 to community, I guess.
That is correct. 2 points
Alright.
to Bo. We have a tied race going into the third round here.
Yes, and I do
Damn.
love Tally. Tally and I, we go
You
way
both
back.
do, I think, though. You both have a Tally thing.
I think Tally is universally beloved by just about everybody, but there's something.
I'm a Garrus main when it comes to Mass Effect.
yeah, something about her. though.
Garrus is the best.
All right, Scott, your final set
Yeah.
of options here, eligible bachelorettes, if you will. You have Diva from Overwatch, Kerrigan from StarCraft, and Tifa from Final Fantasy VII.
Oof. Okay. I know that Tifa's that's a toss-up between you two, but I'm going to say Kerrigan for Bo, Tifa for John, Diva for community for chat.
That is 100% correct.
Damn.
3 points to you, Scott.
Wow.
Damn.
I know Bo likes it rough. That's all I'm saying. He likes it rough.
I like ladies with sharp edges. I can
That's right.
Get open wounds on.
Got some
basically.
real
Yeah,
issues to deal with her, so I like it.
It's true.
Okay.
All right, Bo. Your final set here is Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3, Aloy from the Horizon series, and Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, this is unfairly hard.
This one's hard. Yeah.
This one is
Well,
tough.
it's not that
Honestly, I
hard.
thought the last one would be hard too, because I was like, well, Scott knows Bo never shuts up about Tifa. I thought he would get tricked.
Yeah, I just
He
knew
did
you would
was
not
great.
be. You know what got me there is there's no way John's like super into a Kerrigan
Tifa's
relationship.
great, but she's like
I like
friend
Kerrigan.
great.
I know you like her,
I don't-
but I don't
I-
think you're going out with her. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't crush on Tifa like that. I'd rather spend the night with Kerrigan on the Zerg boat of some kind.
Zerg boat.
Yes, I will
on
admit
a
this
flesh
one.
pustule.
This one is absolutely hard because Scott has definitely gushed over all 3 of these characters.
Yeah, I know. Well, I feel like Aloy the least, probably. I mean, but Cassandra and Shadowheart's a tough choice. I just got a process of eliminate. You both like Cassandra, but you're a Karlach main. So I guess we give Shadowheart to Scott, Cassandra to John, and Aloy to the community.
That is incorrect.
Yo,
That fart
I
means
still
you got it
say
wrong.
I still say Scott and Shadowheart. Well, you know what? Did he pick Cassandra? I never played that game. I don't know the power of Cassandra.
Oh, she's the most important thing about that game. She's the best. She's really good. Do not let this lead you down whatever path you're taking.
I mean,
I
it
don't know. I
doesn't
still
matter.
say
You've
Shadowheart.
won the game at this point, so this is just to
Shadowheart.
find out
Let me
by
go
how-
with Shadowheart, Scott, community Cassandra, and John Aloy. That sounds wrong.
Incorrect. Nope.
So Scott Cassandra and the community Shadowheart and John Aloy.
Nope. Incorrect. The correct answer for
Yeah,
this
help
one
me. I don't
is community Shadowheart, Scott, Aloy, and John
What?
Cassandra.
Yeah, Aloy has grown on me in so many ways.
Aloy edges out both Cassandra and Shadowheart.
Well,
for you in these picks?
Cassandra, I didn't pick, not because I didn't want to, but John asked for 5 or whatever we gave you.
Yeah, just that's
Wow, you've changed, Scott.
So it wasn't like these
you
these
changed, man.
these 3 weren't presented to me and then said pick one. It was
No, I know, but
Yeah.
like this one is hard as shit because you have gushed over Shadowheart and Cassandra,
you're right.
and you've just said the game is good, but never been like, man, Aloy is so hot. Like, this is I got owned.
For me, it's her toughness and her resilience. I find that attractive
I'm
about
sure
the
I
character.
believe it. I
Yeah.
just from pure watch minutes, I guess, or whatever. Like
Yeah.
time spent. That was not the order I think I would give, but okay.
All right.
Fair game to you, sir. You are the Valentine's master.
I'm
You
the winner.
both did very well. You both did much better than I expected.
Yeah.
And that is the game. Do you want to share your full lists with each other? Because there were 2 that didn't make the cut for each.
Yeah,
of you.
mine. I'll read mine that I sent to John. I did Aloy, Cortana, Tally. So those are the ones you used. Chloe Frazier from Uncharted, the Uncharted series. I think she's awesome. And Nova Terra from StarCraft, the StarCraft universe. Nova, basically. I love her.
The last name's Tara.
Yeah, Nova Terra.
Huh.
Terra.
All right.
What'd you send to him?
My list was Vi. Vi is my favorite. Kerrigan second.
Yeah.
It's just she got big punchy gloves, man. I love it.
Yeah, she's great.
What is it? Punch first, ask questions while punching. That's what she always says.
Yeah.
In League. You got Kerrigan, who, you know what? Like, it's not one I would have talked about, but like, man, I've been replaying the campaign, and you really feel that like unrequited romance that Raynor goes through with her and stuff like that. I'm just like, I really like Kerrigan.
Yeah, it is good.
It's hard. It's hard to even call it maybe romantic, but just liking a character and being like, she's a good person, even though she's the leader of the Zerg.
She's in a
the
bad
best.
situation, but she's pretty great.
Yeah, and then Lae'zel, obviously, because we had a relationship and she dumped me, but I still like her.
Yeah, yeah.
And the remaining ones that weren't on the list were I like Pan Am quite a bit from Cyberpunk.
Oh, I totally forgot about the other girl on Cyberpunk that I like.
Judy. Yeah.
Judy, I like Judy. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And,
I should have put Judy on there for one of them because I
Yeah.
do like Judy. I could have used her as one
Judy's
of mine
great.
to throw Bo off.
I worry about
Jaina.
Judy.
No, Jaina is sad.
I
it's just
wrote-
who people like, man. Jaina's like boring as shit.
She's a little boring, but I also had her on the list and replaced her with Chloe from the other thing. So I actually did write Jaina before I sent it to John.
I just don't think you get to know much of her personality in the game. The games are more like they're cool looking, but I don't know. You know, especially Jaina. She's not a main, you know.
Yeah.
I guess maybe if you read the Tech Quest text in World of Warcraft, you know more. I don't know. And my last one was Triss from Witcher 3. I actually like Triss Marigold.
Oh, Triss is
Witcher 3
cool.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
That date you go on is really charming, and I still canonically just feel like that's one of those weird ones where you're role playing as Geralt, and it feels like Geralt likes Yennefer more. It feels like a violation to like Triss more.
Yeah.
For Geralt, you know, it's like, oh no,
For
this
him,
character
it does,
clearly likes Yennefer more. Like they didn't do a great job of being like, choose the one you like. It's your role.
Yep.
But I like Triss better than Yennefer. Yennefer's a moody little.
By the way, when they were picking names for Nick's
Biatch.
baby, they ended up going with Ramona, but I floated Yennefer as a possible.
Did you really?
Yeah. Nobody liked it.
Did you think it was actually going to be considered?
No.
Or was it to be
I mean, if they were Witcher fans, maybe, but they aren't really. Nobody's really played it. Nick's never played it. And so I don't think they had the connection to it. But they just thought it was weird. It's like Yennefer. Why is there a Y instead of a J? Like it's a weird use of the Yennefer.
Well, not if you're European, because everything J is anyways. Like according to my Hungarian grandmother, Jacob, my brother, was Jakob all the time.
Jakob. Put down toilet seat, Jakob.
Yennefer, actually, to my brain makes a lot of sense. I was like, oh yeah, okay, there you go. This is a European deal.
Well, that was fun, John. John, I hope it wasn't, like Chinese food takes too long to cook and too fast to eat. How did this feel? Your contest?
That was fun. I had a great time doing it.
What
it
was your
fun
list?
Interacting. I did not actually make a list. I just sort of picked what I felt would fit well with what I was throwing up there and go along with it. There were a few on there that were like Cat was a very specific, I think that might have been the first video game character. I didn't even really understand being attracted to a video game character, but I just remember looking at pictures of Cat in the strategy guide being like, wow. And I didn't know why. I didn't understand it. So she was included because she kind of inspired the thought.
She the tiger anime lady? Is that who that is?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, from Breath of Fire too.
Okay.
And then Marl was thrown on there because that definitely was one of the first ones because I was just so into the quote unquote romance story of Chrono Trigger. I was like, yeah, there it is. The others were just like, who can I help trick?
Yeah.
We got Lae'zel in there, so put Karlach in because, that might muddy the waters a little bit.
I think just thinking about it, why Tally, I think it's Tally's accent and the fact that I can't really see her. Is that weird? Like there's a mystery about her and it's her accent. That's what.
There's also a picture of her, and it's no longer just pulled from a free photo database.
Right.
Actually updated it.
That's right. They fixed it for the whatever that version was called. What they call it?
It doesn't say Shutterstock across her picture at the end.
That was so dumb. Well done. That was a blast. Let's move on.
I hope you guys liked it.
I did.
If you didn't, good news. Valentine's Day is a year away. So there you go. We did it.
We'll do it again next year, everybody. Look forward to it. It's now time for us to meander over here and check out some other news. Sony joins Microsoft in realizing first-party games on other platforms make money. And so you're seeing that with Helldivers 2. You're seeing that with a bunch of other exclusives coming to PC very soon. Not quite, I guess the baseball game is a Sony game that is on Xbox. It's even in Game Pass. But I think you're going to see more and more of this homogenization. I think that's what all this signals.
Said they wanted to go aggressively into being willing to put first party titles on PC. And
Yeah.
I don't think you use the word aggressively if what you mean is we're going to wait 3 years before we put it out on the platform. I think we're going to see a shift,
Yeah.
and I think we're going to have a lot of thank yous to Helldivers 2 for this.
Yeah.
But also the PS5 sales they're good. I don't misunderstand what I'm saying when I say they're below projections. It's selling well as a console, but it is underselling where they thought it would be. And Sony has said they have no major first party releases coming out exclusively on PlayStation this year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a year without the very thing that when you say, when somebody says, should I get a PlayStation or an Xbox? The biggest seller for PlayStation is, well, they've got the best exclusives. There aren't any this year.
No,
So I
no.
think Sony is also rethinking, like, hey, maybe we should put some of this stuff out in other places. That might help our year out a little bit too. So I'd be interesting to see what this year ends up looking
Yeah.
like
It's
in
my
terms
big
of that.
my biggest takeaway from all of this kerfuffle, the rumors around Xbox, all this stuff, is this very thing, that both companies would be stupid to just sit back and go, well, everyone can wait 5 years for the next God of War, and it'll all work out like it used to. I don't think that's true anymore. And PC sales or PC gamers are on the rise, not on the drop. And that ecosystem is better than it's ever been and more attainable than it's ever been. So I don't know. I think they have to. They don't have a choice. And you're right. They revised their projections. They wanted 25 million consoles sold by the quarter or something to that effect, and they've revised it down to like 21 or something, 20. So they're pulling back a little bit. Diablo is selling a Portal 5 color pack. So custom portals, not custom, but redesigned portals that you can pop instead of your regular portal. And this little 5 color pack for a portal replacement is $30 plus some game currency.
I think it's 20 American. I might have misquoted the price, maybe.
Well, all I know is
Well,
it's
maybe
like almost as much as the game costs, is the point, right?
I mean,
people aren't happy
the
about
big
it.
issue is like it's just Portal reskins and it's a recolor, and it makes me sad because it could be content for the game. Like
Yeah.
it's just an indication of where the game's going, and it just breaks my heart because it's a really good game. But this is not good. I'm a little tired of rewarding this business, honestly.
Well, maybe.
I was
pretty
kind
bad.
of aware this was coming because I mean, not me personally. I did see somebody had filled out one of those surveys. This was part of that extremely confusing survey where they just show you an item and they put dollars next to it and they go,
Yeah.
what do you think is the most exciting thing here? And I've never seen a more confusing survey than that. But like I knew custom or not custom, unique different portal skins for Town Portal was something that they were considering. And I was like, it just made me sad. And sure enough, they were putting like dollar values next to it of like $30. No, nobody wants this.
Yeah.
No, this should be $1, $1 at most.
At most.
Like it.
Portal colored. Okay, you know what? I would pay, and also $1, not some fake currency. I would go, yeah, I have $5, and that's a 5 color pack for $1 a piece, $5 total. I would buy that. And you know what? I think a lot of people would. I'm never spending $30 ever on that. Ever. For portals that you hope you don't use half the time anyway because you don't want to go back to town.
Well, you barely
most of the
look
time.
at them. Like and even it's trash.
It's bad.
I used to always make
It's
the
trashy.
joke that if you want to know what prices should be of items, take whatever Blizzard's charging and subtract it by 2/3. And that's what the actual value is. We are beyond even that now.
Yeah.
It's like subtracted by 10 times what they're charging for. I mean, they're doing it, so they must be getting money somewhere from it. Like it must be working. But I mean, to me, I have always said I'm extremely susceptible to this stuff. Like I know I am. I fall for a lot of the predatory practices. Let me show you my Fortnite skins at some point, and you'll know how easily I fall to like hype machines and limited time store purchases and look at this and look at that. I haven't spent a single dime on Diablo 4. And to me, that says something. And I can't be the only one there. Just feel like they could get my money with a better price point. It's shocking where they think the value in this game is.
Yeah. Do you remember what we paid for new characters and heroes? It was like 10 or 15. $10.
Yeah, it was about $10.
Think about that. An entire set of, well, at least 3 sets of armor that would give you different looks, but also an entire set of abilities and moves and capabilities and a new role on the battlefield that could change the entire meta. That $10 was a pretty good value. Right.
Arguably, you could call it like content.
You could call it content. Yeah. That's playable, worthwhile content. And charging $10 for it didn't feel egregious because you actually got that much value out of it. 5 color pack freaking portals. F right off that cliff. That sucks. I don't like it. People keep asking me, Scott.
Okay, you want to know how much it costs Canadian?
Yeah, go ahead. What's $30?
$40.39.
Yeah, F that shit, dude.
I bought Helldivers for that amount.
Yeah.
Like, what is Rod? Like, so Rod Ferguson's in charge of the game?
Well, I don't know if
What
he's in
are you doing,
charge
bro?
of this. He may
What
not
are you
be.
doing?
He may have zero say in this part. I don't blame
I
Rod.
know it's just corporate stuff, and they probably like. But it's who made the decision? Like, who's doing this at the company? Like, how do we make them stop? How do we talk to them? Tell them like,
Right.
Can you just make this? Like, don't you want people to log into your game? Like, make this stuff not monetized. Make it part of the draw for your seasons. What are you doing?
Yeah. Have I mean, Microsoft owns them now. You got to have somebody over there who knows their shit about this sort of thing. Go in there and tell them, hey, I know Bobby Kotick had this great idea, but we don't like it anymore. So first thing you're going to do is turn that portal into $1. And then the rest of this, we're going to have a conversation and maybe just start peeling that back a little because it's.
I don't think they're going to mess with it, to be honest with you.
Maybe not. And if it's selling, for all we know, they're not going to release these numbers. I don't think they have to, but I'd love to know how this is selling, these portals. Are they even out yet? Can you get them now? I mean, they probably
I think so. I think it's a season 3 thing. So, maybe not. Let's say pre-purchase or purchase.
Yeah, I'm legit curious.
It had its own article, even. Yeah, traverse through the dark pathways. Pank. It's its own blog post because these portals are such a special purchase.
Horseshit. It's horseshit. Now I'm getting mad. I'm getting madder. The more I think about it, the worse I like, or the least I like it. Hey, you know what I'm going to do this weekend? I'm going to fire up my my copy of Last Epoch.
Epoch Last?
Epoch Last.
That's how much that is.
That's how it
it's
appears
the same
in
price.
the phone book.
Yeah, you could go buy Last Epoch, which is about to hit 1.0 next week, and you've got yourself a full game for that price.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody should. Everybody's saying it. The best you can do is vote with your money, which again is not always guaranteed that somebody's going to listen. I mean, if vote with your money worked, they wouldn't have made Madam Web.
Oh yeah, dude.
So
Jeez.
it clearly doesn't always work. Like voting with your money is not 100% an effective solution, but it's about all you can do. Go spend this money somewhere else. Let the whales continue to hold up that game. And I mean, just walk away from Diablo. The sad truth is I was a huge fan of initially playing Diablo 4. I thought it was a really good initial experience. I was then very disappointed, but hopeful for the expansion. And now, because of things like this, I'm at a point where I don't even know if I want that expansion. And that's just where I'm at. They are, at least for me, and that's the only person I can actually factually speak to, they are poisoning the brand to me. I'm losing interest in this product going forward.
Same.
And that's what it's going to be, and it will eventually catch up to them.
But John, here at Blizzard, we think the poison motif works well in the Diablo universe. A lot of poison,
Yeah.
you know,
A lot of poison, a lot of status effects.
Can
it's
I
one of our 97 stats you can
That's right.
find on our gear.
This conversation reminded me of something that I wanted to add on to my Helldivers 2 advertisement.
Yeah.
So this game does have in-game currency and a battle pass.
Yeah. I heard about
You can earn most of the battle pass cost in the freemium stuff, but not all of it. But the good thing about it is it's doing the Halo Infinite model, where you can work on the battle passes at any. They never go away.
Yeah, they're just
There's no
nice.
artificial
they're-
scarcity.
yeah,
So
I like that.
you know, you when you're earning the medals from the missions, like you can always like save up the super credits,
Hmm.
Super Earth super credits, and then like engage an old battle pass or something like that. So you're always you just don't have to like rush to be like, I better log in or this battle pass is going to go away and I'm never going to get this cool cosmetic I'm interested in. It'll always be available for you to unlock, which I think
That's
is
one thing I wish Fortnite would do.
Yeah.
Just because I want a
all
Mystique
game.
skin.
That's one thing Halo Infinite did that
Never
all
come
games should
back.
do. That's an example of good innovation. Is those
Yeah.
battle passes should not be limited time.
Yeah. I got in there today. Like I say, I'm on this you know, I want to shoot people in the face trip that isn't Call of Duty. And I played some Halo Infinite today, and that multiplayer was hopping today. There were people all over the place in the middle of the day.
I've
Okay.
heard it's better. You know,
Yeah.
I haven't played it. I've heard it's better.
I'll
I
get back in
had levels of fun back when I first tried it, but
Yeah. I may have to hop in again. I want to see, because apparently they've made big strides in the skins department and, you know, things that people were not happy about. So we'll see how they're doing over there. What else is going on? For a hot minute, and I don't know if this has changed yet, but for maybe still, Nvidia this week became the third largest company in the world, third largest market cap in the world, overtaking
Whoa.
Google/Alphabet for third place. Currently in first place, Apple, Microsoft, and for a minute here, Nvidia. Now, the reason for this is multifaceted. We don't have to get into all that. I just wanted to mention this because I just think it's fascinating that this little startup in the 90s that started making competitive GPU cards around the Voodoo days and really buried Voodoo as a result because the GeForce stuff was just so much better, has gone on to do so much more. They make their own chips. Those chips power huge server farms. Most of the AI world runs on a bunch of NVIDIA crap now, and that's doing nothing but growing. And that's really where they're seeing their biggest growth is like some AI technology. They've been talking about a new on-device, meaning on your computer AI large language model that uses your 3080 or 4080 card as a local, instead of like a big server farm doing it, you're just doing it on your own PC. It's interesting, if not, you know, for me, it'd be kind of useless at this point. I don't know what I'd use it for. But anyway, I think it's really interesting, and it's crazy to me. Third largest company, and they got all these gaming roots, and they still dominate in that space, with the exception of consoles. The Switch being the exception that uses a Ryzen chip, but the PlayStation and the Xbox line all use AMD chips and GPUs, and Nvidia's hasn't really cracked that very hard. But I thought for just a hot second this week, if Microsoft had said today we're pulling out of consoles, Nvidia would be possibly a company who could just slide in there and say, look at this monster we're going to make. It's called the Nvidia Shard or something.
They've had little boxes like the Shield over the year and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the Shield's cool. Yeah, the Shield's very cool. And their GeForce Now is popping along. They got that going on. So they have some back-end stuff like that that's doing well. They have the hardware prowess. They have enough money now. They're awash with it. They could make a risk like that if that was the case. It's not the case. But if it was, I could see NVIDIA filling that void.
What's the one business they won't get into? Making video games.
Yeah, games. That's the other thing.
They'll
That's
make
the
all
other
other
thing.
stuff.
They have no studios. They have no, they'd have to
That's
invest
why
in
they
that.
made so much money. They're not in a losing business like video game development.
Oh shit, dude, that's actually a really good point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was interesting while it lasted. Also, No Man's Sky's got a big free update and a free play weekend coming up, so you can play that game for free if you never bought it. For those of us who did, we have an update called, was it Omega? No. Yeah, Omega is the
No,
update.
it's called Omega, yeah.
A bunch of new stuff, new ships, some kind of hovercraft thing.
Yeah, I mean, the craziest part about it is it feels like every time we talk about No Man's Sky, we seem to attract a crowd that is still mad at No Man's Sky. This
Oh, really?
crowd also shows up with Cyberpunk, where it's like I'm never gonna forgive them for broken promises.
Oh,
But if you
yeah.
are slightly more reasonable than those people, you can test it without having to give them money, despite the fact that they have regularly supported this game for so long for free now. If you really don't want to give them money, but you're curious, this weekend you can play it without having to buy the game.
Pretty sure I'm firing this up again because just all the talk around it gets me wanting to play it again. And I've also been hankering for a good survival game that isn't Palworld, and I don't know, this game's great at that. So I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna reinstall it. I need to keep it installed. Oh, I have a slight update.
Oh, right.
It's a little weird to say this because we are vaguely partnered with them. This is not an ad. They are not paying me to say this, but it's worth noting. I've talked a lot on here about my computer and not being sure if I got the right size hard drive.
Right.
I kept telling everybody, oh, I've got 2 1 terabyte NVMe hard drives.
Yeah.
And Scott was like, and then I found out one of them's only 500 gigs.
Yeah.
And so Scott said, reach out to him, find out. I did. Reached out to Doghouse Systems, said, hey guys, I need to know what I ordered because I don't remember. It's been so long. And it turns out I was wrong. They specifically had sent me a 500 and a 1 terabyte, and the me that ordered this computer back then was like, 1 terabyte, I'll never fill that up. That was before before video game companies discovered they could just put out any size video game and it was fine.
Yeah.
But they decided to hook me up. And they're taking care of me, and they're sending me a 2 terabyte NVMe drive to put in my PC.
Now, you might think me piling onto this is actually confirming the idea that this is somehow a stealth ad, but this has always been true of these guys since I started working with them back in 2007 and 8. That's when that started. They are so dead. When they say they're like the best customer service and or reach out to us, we'll see what we can do kind of company, I mean it. Like, they will do shit and they will always do right by people, even if there's some mistake. And it's half the time it's not even their fault, and they'll still do all they can. They're amazing. They're so great.
I'm hesitant to tell the specifics of these stories because I don't want people to take advantage of them. But I will say I owned a Doghouse system long before Core was even a show. Long before they sponsored anything I was associated with. I owned a Doghouse system. I had a problem that needed urgent addressing while they were manufacturing my first computer they ever made for me. I sent them an email thinking I was going to have to pay a bunch of money to get this problem addressed. They immediately got back to me same day. They addressed the issue all for free. They understood, even though it was 100% my fault and not theirs at all. They took ownership of it and got me sorted. That has been my experience with the company all along.
Yeah.
So, I know it's weird because it sounds like an advertisement. I'm just telling what happened. They also, in addition to sending me the hard drive, I mentioned to them, I wasn't looking for a handout, but the screws that hold the front panel of my computer on, the little threads that they thread into, the plastic on that is breaking on 2 of the 4. And so every time I have to take off that front panel to dust, I'm like, is this the time I have to lose the front panel to my computer and it will never go back on? But I didn't know what to search for because every time I look for front panel screws for a computer and threads, you don't find anything. So I just thought while I was talking to him, I was like, hey, can I find out what this is called with the full intent of ordering it? And they said, you know what? We got one, basically extra parts we're looking to get rid of right now. I'll just send you a replacement for the front of the PC.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Like, it's insane. Like, and the same day and they're shipping it out. Like, again, it's weird. I always feel weird when it's an ad, but not an ad. But it's amazing. And it feels really good to be taken care of like that.
Yeah, so, feels good to be associated with those guys. They're awesome. Always have been. And it will run Helldivers 2 really well once I finally cave in.
I can keep it installed. I don't have to uninstall these awesome games right after we finish. playing the game and make a gamble on if we're going to play it again, which has almost always been the case that we don't, except the one time I did it where I was like, well, we're not going to play Sea of Thieves again.
Yeah.
And then immediately
And then we
next week,
did.
what if we did more Sea of Thieves?
Shit,
I got to
put that back on there.
download that whole game again.
Yeah, you got to keep that thing on there. All right. What else? The FCC has made it illegal to use AI voice generation on robocalls.
Great.
That's great. I don't answer
thought
my
it was
phone,
interesting.
so whatever. I don't answer it.
I
but-
just thought it was a little interesting. It's
No,
not,
I
I don't think
think-
there's much to say about it except like that's a direction things are going in currently for that kind of stuff.
This is what we need more
Take note.
of. We need more like, hey, there's going to be penalties if you do this, instead of like, there's going to be an angry Twitter message in your DMs if
Yeah.
you do this. Like, we just need more stuff like this, please.
Well, plus there's already like the way that spam works, either phone or email or anything, it's all a numbers game, and it's very inexpensive. That's why it works, because it's very inexpensive to just launch 1 million robocalls and only 2 suckers get it. It was worth it because it was very low cost. This just makes it even lower cost if you're just going to fake all the voices and not have to have anyone do anything. You just make your computer do it, and now you're doing way more robocalls. Like, that's where I want to see regulation like this. That makes sense to me. Where I don't want it is, what I don't want is Congress to get stupid, because they already are stupid about technology. They don't understand it, most of them. So I hope they don't go nuts and just start going, you can't use AI in a Halo guy who dodges your bullets. Well, no, I want it there. Like, there are places I want innovation in AI. I just don't want robocalls to increase. So do it there, not over here. It's as simple as that. I've made a stand.
I'd like to see more strict guidelines on using AI creative voice over phones specifically for any purpose. Like, you know, I think there is a genuine fear. They already do it as a common scam. I've had to work it out with my parents where it's like, hey, if you ever get a call saying we need money from your son, your grandson, whatever, like, ask for a password.
Yeah.
We've worked it out because my grandma in California nearly fell for it. She was prepping the money to send because they got a hold of her. They found out they supposedly they found out my name, but I think she might have supplied it, you know, like your
Yeah,
grandson
fished it.
needs help, and then she said the name and they said the name, but she was getting ready to send money to some scammer saying that I needed help getting bailed out of jail for something. And while she was prepping the money to be sent, she called my dad to find out what I did and why I was in jail. And he's like, John's not in jail. What are you talking about? She's like, well, I'm sending him money. I got to get him out of there. And he's like, no, stop. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's really...
But imagine how much more effective those scams become if somebody can record your voice, or a voice you might trust, or,
Yeah,
you know,
they're doing it now.
You get a call from someone who sounds like the celebrity saying you won something. So in general, I feel like this is an area that needs some protection. You know,
Totally
people that
agree.
are
And it's happening so
susceptible to it.
fast, they got to get out in front of it now. Like, get going, because it's already happening. Here's the other thing. I called my bank and I told them that I need a rule on my account. And the rule is you can only do anything with my money in savings or in checking or anything. You can only do something with it if I am there in person to tell you to do it. It can't be phone calls. And they're getting this. They said they're getting this a lot lately, where people are calling in and putting this kind of a rule in their file. So now that's official at my bank. If I'm not physically there, they're not allowed to do any of that stuff. And they're close, so it's not hard for me to go down there and do it. I would much rather have that rule in place and be a little inconvenienced than have anybody call my bank with my voice, which is very easy to duplicate. I duplicated my own voice, and it is freaky how close it is. And I want to hedge that bet, so I did that. All right. Nicely done, everyone. We've covered the news, and here's what's important now is that we let our people at home have a voice. And how do they do it? Well, here's how.
That's a good question.
They send us emails, they send us texts, and they send us voicemails. I'm going to read a text today and play a voicemail. The text came from Nick, not my son, somebody else's son, I'm sure. Uh,
Yeah, probably.
he called
Odds are high.
He called the 10 Hams line. 801-471-0462 is that number. You're welcome to use that to leave us text, voicemails, whatever you want. In your discussion about Palworld in the latest episode, I didn't hear Bo or John try to sell Scott on Palworld by talking about the automation element. When I heard about that, my first thought was, oh man, I can't wait to hear how excited it gets about this part of the game. I'm not sure. I think you mean Scott would get about this part of the game. Hopefully, by the next episode, his tune has changed on playing it despite the controversy, because it seems like something he would really enjoy, says Nick. How much automation is in there? I mean, are we talking like factorial levels?
I didn't get to it, so that's why I didn't mention it. I never got to see that because I haven't put enough time into it.
Right.
I haven't got the conveyor belts yet, so I'm not sure what that means. But yes, the pals will work on at all the stations in your camp, so you don't have to do much.
Interesting. But it's
not like I don't think it's like Factorio. I don't know if you can program production chains, but you get like each of the pals have different skills that they have different skills. Like one might be good at handiwork, so stations that need handiwork, when there's handiwork to be done, they'll go do it.
Right.
If something needs enkindling, like fire animals, they'll cook on your forge or cook your food that you leave queued up. So yeah, there's a lot of automation, which is very different from games like that. Most of the time, you have to make your own stuff in Valheim and Enshrouded and things like that. It's a neat part of it. It's definitely a thing. I just don't think, knowing how you felt about it, I just didn't think it was going to push you over the edge. It's not.
No. I still
We're
can't
not
really
playing Dyson or Factorio or anything.
I don't even feel that motivated right now to play it still, and it's not about there are Pokemon looking Pokemon in it. That people have got that. There's some people who misunderstand my apprehension about the game. It's nothing to do with any of that. It's the constant freaking hype and talk about it that I hate. So it's like, let that simmer for a while, and it already is. Things have died down. People aren't talking about it constantly. Now it's all Helldivers 2. But that's all been positive talk, so I'm into that. But also I've been itching to get a better shooter under my skin, so it's kind of working on a few levels. But it was the Palworld hype bubble that I was not enjoying, and who knows? Maybe I'll get around.
I think like there's a lot of. I think it's just, you could also just say like there's a lot of games and you can't play them all. And I've just been thinking about this, like, just because we do this. I try to make sure I have stuff to do for the week. I've been streaming. You can't keep up with all of it. We're not like an IGN or GameSpot that have a staff of people that can keep up. Like you cannot. My interest in video games, I think, is deeper than most, but I can't be interested in all the video games. My brain refuses to. It wants to like one or two things at a time, and the rest can go, enjoy themselves. Like,
what's nice is we have a good, differences of interests here. We have a lot of stuff we like jointly.
We cover a lot of ground.
The best as we can. So, if you want to hear about how it's going with this co-op shooter, Bo's your guy. If you want to hear about some cool indie game, I'm your guy. If you want to hear about Doki Doki Anime Big Eye Club or whatever, then John's your guy. I'm totally just kidding. I'm totally kidding, John.
You got that game though.
I did. It's free on Epic, so I grabbed it. I was like, you know what? I'll play that, John. I don't know when I'm going to play it, but after all that talk you did, at some point I got to try it.
To be fair, I have always told you will not like the game.
That's true. You have.
But that also doesn't mean you shouldn't play the game.
Exactly. And I want to know what the deal is. That's all. Because I know there's a deal. Yes,
I'm just saying it's hard to give games their proper due and love as well. Because it's one thing to boot up the game and play it for a couple hours, Yeah. It's another thing to give it the full, 50-60, I like this game, your undivided attention, that kind of thing. Sure. There's a big difference. And I think a lot of the internet is a lot of people making comments about games they haven't even played. And I don't really want to join that chorus of people. So, it's difficult, right? We always disclaimer, we only played a little bit of it, so take it with a grain of salt. Like we never don't disclaimer that.
Right.
And I think like realistically speaking, you just can't keep up with all of it. So
and I don't want to. I don't want it to sound like I have because I haven't played hardly any Palworld. I don't have any judgment toward the game at all.
It was really obnoxious what was going around on the discourse.
That
but
was
the game
bugging me.
itself, like it's an easy one to miss. Like you know, your mileage may vary. I definitely a sucker for like if there's a hype bubble around a game, I'm like I want to see what's going on in the tent.
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
I have the reverse sort of effect. I think from you guys are like, man, what's everyone talking about? I got to play it.
Yeah.
I think
But-
with Scott, it's discourse specifically
Yeah.
because like
Would
I've
you
seen
turn off?
Scott
Yeah.
get into hyped games, but it's as soon as I mean, it doesn't. Scott gets more messages and probably much weirder messages than I tend to get. Like I can tell because I've seen his Twitter account sometimes, and it's like he'll be like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And then you read the first reply, and it's somebody being like, "F you, you said this." It's like, where'd this guy come from?
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like when you start to attract that kind of attention, where you're getting just like random messages out of nowhere, like all of a sudden people start looking at what you're playing as a message. And like you can even hear it in what Scott's saying by not playing it, which is
Yeah.
like, guys, don't read into it as this, don't read into it as this. And I think when there's discourse around the game, I think Scott has a tendency, probably rightfully so, because I think if I was in his shoes, I'd be the same way. I think I told this story like Hogwarts Legacy when it came out had a ton of controversy around it.
That's why I didn't play it then. Same thing.
I bought it because I actually read the Harry Potter books. I was like, this might be interesting.
Same.
I bought the game before I played it. And I don't want to make this person feel bad because I think they did it innocently. But before I even played it, I got a direct message on Steam saying, "Hey, awesome. Good job buying that game," or, something like that. Excited to see that you're playing it. And I'd never gotten a message like that on something I had purchased before, where somebody was watching my account to see if I bought it. I mean, not watching me specifically, because if you're friends on Steam, it will show that your friend got the game.
Sure.
But all of a sudden, it just felt icky. It felt like, to me, I was just doing my own personal thing. I wasn't trying to make a statement about anything one way or another. I was just going to try a new video game because I do a show about video games.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got that message that was like, "Hey, good job. Welcome to the club," I was like, I don't want to deal with this right now. Like most games I buy on Steam, it's probably going to sit and collect dust for 6 months anyway. So I will refund it. I will go back and buy it when it's on super sale because I probably won't play it for, months anyway. It turns out a lot longer. And I'll just leave it because this is too weird for me. And I have a feeling that you're kind of in the same boat where it's like, I don't want to be a part of the discourse. I just want to play a video game.
Yep.
I just want to put another arcade machine in my arcade and have another thing I can play and it be cool. And I don't want it to mean anything above or beyond that.
Yeah. And if I have a problem with something that I don't want to play for some other, reason that's a moral reason or political reason or whatever, keep that shit to myself. Like, I don't want to be in that. I'm done with, let me tell you what I'm done with. I am so done with culture wars. I can't even tell you how done I am. And so this happened this week. It's funny that we're bringing this up. Starting Monday, I decided no more public hose social media. What I mean by that is no follower feed and no For You page on Twitter, on anything, really, with one exception, and that is I like YouTube Shorts because it gives me science shit. None of it's controversial. The algorithm likes me over there.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make a real stand at that because I do this. I'll get up in the morning sometimes, getting ready, showered, whatever, grab my phone. All right, what's going on in the world? And I'll go look at these public hose feeds. And they always make me feel like crap every time I do it. And yeah, it's intermingled with stuff I like. It's, my friend's played this and he thinks that's cool. My other friend saw a TV show I'm interested in. Like, that stuff's still there. But for those things to thrive and survive, they need to feed me garbage that I react to either angrily or emotionally or whatever. It's part of the business model, and I am no longer willing to be a cog in that machine. So I stopped, and I wanted to see what would happen. So here we are Thursday. I've yet to look at a public feed all week. I go in there still and post. It's not that I'm not posting. I post all kinds of dumb shit like usual. I reply to people who are replying to me. I read those. I read my replies, and I check DMs. I'm just not looking at the public algorithmic freaking nightmare feed or even the one that just follows who I follow.
Good.
Yeah.
And you know what? This whole week has been so much better for me mentally, like energy wise. You can probably hear it in my voice tonight. I'm hyped up. I'm like feeling great. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. Maybe it's a temporary thing. I'm not ascribing this to anyone else. You all do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm just saying that after 4 days of this, it's a tangible difference for me in my attitude.
It is 100% a thing, because I will go out and do whatever, open my phone, open up. Well, used to. I don't do this anymore. You open up Twitter, you go to trending tab, you read a few tweets, and all of a sudden you're having a 30-minute, 60-minute conversation with yourself. Like, you're just kind of like you're batting it around in your head. You're like, well, if someone asked me, I think I'd say this, and you're just imagining scenarios where you're getting asked, and I'm like, this has all happened because I saw some idiot post some dumb perspective that was obviously stupid, but like, I don't know him. I'm not responsible for her for their education. It's just all it is in my life is some text and some context that just upset me, and it's like that every day.
And when it's a trending topic, you got like 100 of them, and it starts to feel like, look how many. This must be a big deal. Your brain is queuing in on this. So much of this must be tangible or substantial.
It's not just Twitter. It's the trending tab on YouTube as well, and what hits the zeitgeist there too. Because I do watch a lot of YouTube. I have to like deliberate and think, like, do I really want to watch this? Is this going to send me down a tangent of me arguing with myself for a couple hours and nobody cares? It does nothing for my life. It's like, it's not like it's rotting your brain. I don't want to sound like, that Twitter, that YouTube is going to rot your brain, but it literally dictates the course of your mental energy in a day. And you should direct it in directions that are more positive. You should just play video games.
Yeah, play video games and then really dive into the community has been the alternative here. So I'll get on Discord and really talk to you guys and really have back and forth with people who I care about, whose opinions I want to hear. That's where I'm spending my time in these 4 days. And it's been massively better for me in ways that's just hard to even describe. So I'm not going to tell anybody out there what they should or shouldn't do. I am just telling you, maybe try that and then see how you feel, because it made a huge difference for me. And it turned, and here's the other thing I noticed. Today, something got updated. Twitter, X, whatever, got updated. And so it launched new. So I'm not on where I normally am in replies. So it defaulted to the public feed. And I looked at it, and it looked like a wall of nothing to my brain. It was like, normally I'd key in and go, what? I start just seeing this stuff. Instead, it just looked like nonsense. And it was so easy to go, well, I'm not looking at that. And I went over here and did this. And there's like blood, red-blooded humans that I talk to, because they reply about interesting things, and it's not a big fight. It's not a culture war. It's just a conversation. That is edifying. This other shit is not. And it's hard for me. This has been hard for me for a long time. This has been a problem for me. And I feel like if I can keep this up, I feel pretty good about where I'm going.
Yeah. That's why I'm really appreciative that the Frog Pants Discord is in a good place.
That's great.
When I go to have those impulses, I just open up Discord instead, and there's some mild disagreements we've had in the core chat, but everyone's pretty civil and it's nice. And
it's the thing, we have kind of a PUD repellent going on in there, and this has always been true of the community. If you come into our Discord and you're just an a-hole by nature, and there are some Discords where you will thrive, but you will you'll look like red paint on you. Everyone will know exactly what's going on, and you will not last more than that day. Like, it's just the way it'll be. I want to cultivate more of that. You can come at me all day saying, that's just you saying you don't want alternate opinions. F off. Sit on this finger
Nobody in our
and spin.
Discord agrees with us.
Yeah,
I've
who gives
never
a shit?
seen for a bunch of people that decided to unify around our show. I've never seen a bigger group of people that disagrees with us on every single topic.
They do a
on
lot.
Our Discord. They definitely are not there because they think everything we say. is correct.
But at least there's a civility and a back and forth, and no one's trolling or being dicks. And we know when you are. We just see it, and then we moderate you the F out of there. The point is, that's where I really want to cultivate that more and just spend more of my energy there. And it's working out great. If you haven't joined us there, you should. It's a fantastic community, and it involves all kinds of Frog Pants stuff. The core zone, though, is the poppin' one, man. That place is just always firing off. There's always something going on. But like Omega 9 says in the chat, he says, okay, but don't stop posting your art to threads. No, that's my point. I will still use all of these things to promote, to post. If I draw something, it's going up. I'm just not then after I'm done going, all right, let's go over to this feed and read about shit. I'm not doing that anymore.
I think the problem. I don't know if you have this problem. The thing when I think about like posting and ghosting, is kind of the practice.
Right.
Is that it also sort of. I mean, people prey on this. What I'm about to say is just like it feels like, well, I should be contributing. Because you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna put my shit on there and then go away, and you all can enjoy it. It's like, and I'm not going to be a part of it.
Right.
Is kind of I think how you get sucked into it, but at the same time. What I'm trying to say, it's like the same way that Xbox, ruins podcasting. Is that that it's everyone is on. Everyone has an account. Every corporation's posting their shit. Look at me, and I don't want to be that when it comes to my stuff. Like I want, like it feels proper to be an authentic human being and go, here's my stuff, and now I'm going to interact with people and be a real human being about these things. Even though Wendy's does it too, so like.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? But like,
right.
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, there's, it's like it's hard to sort of. It's the healthy thing, unfortunately.
Well, I wasn't kidding when I said my Twitter feed on Valentine's Day was like, and some of it was real people retweeting like stuff, and like I don't want to take away from that. And certainly there are people that are excited about projects they're in and stuff like that. But there was a moment where I was scrolling through Twitter and I was just like. It was nothing but those like video game character Valentines. Like, here's a Yakuza one, here's a Sonic the Hedgehog one, here's a Baldur's Gate one, here's this one. And like some of them are funny and entertaining and good. But I had that realization too, where I was flipping through it and I went, there is no content here. It is just people posting Valentines, which granted is the purpose of the day.
Sure.
But I'm not getting anything out of this. And it made me keenly aware of like, I don't think I'm getting out of this what I used to get out of this, which was interaction. Like
it's all about that. 100%.
Or some
yeah, which is why Bo's totally right about the post and ghost, but that's the goal here. Well, what I would really like to do is unfollow everybody. I just said this in the chat, but unfollow everyone I follow and then refollow the people again. Because now you've got stuff from 2007 when I joined. You got people in there who have gone completely off the wagon and are just total psychos on there now. So I can unfollow them individually as I hear them say things, but I really need a clean start and then just go back in and be selective. That used to be a viable
tactic until algorithms.
Right, exactly. But the algorithmic stuff is what's really messing with us. It's changed the way we think about people we don't know. Like, I hate it. So I'm not doing that shit.
The search for you algorithms. I mean, for you is the worst thing to happen to computer programming and computers in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
like it really is awful.
And for people who say, it's kind of like John was talking about being susceptible to predatory practices in games and extra skins and all that. It's kind of like that. And I hate when people say, well, we're the problem then. We're the ones using the service. We're the ones that are getting sucked in by all this. Yeah, no. Yes, that's the point, is that we are susceptible at varying degrees, varying different people, but at varying degrees, we are all susceptible to being, we're going to freak out if we hear this or see this, or certain things are going to, quote unquote, trigger us or whatever. That's where I think this is predatory, because these companies effing know that. Meta knows it. X knows it. They all know it. And they know that by feeding you more of the stuff that sets you off or keeps you on that, staring at that thing, that's how they keep you on there. And that's not healthy. That's not for your interests, best interest at all. In fact, it's just more proof that when you don't pay for a thing, you think, well, this is great because it's free. You are the product, and they're going to treat you like that.
And this isn't that's actually, someone said X-Files. It's actually not X-Files.
Not at all, dude.
There's a documentary, like there's several, but there's one. There was that ethics guy from Google who's gone around and said a lot about it. There's also another dude with dreads who's been on a lot, who's been talking about this a lot as well. So it's very much not X-Files. It's actually like massively disrespectful to other human beings if you really boil it down to like we all know, like cynically, they're businesses, they're doing what they can to make money. They're not really your friends when they're providing you customer service, let's say, right? But there's still a level of people being treated with respect.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like the opposite. These things are actually massively disrespectful to you and your time, because it's all not what you want, and it's more presumptive because it's based on like anyone being boiled down to a statistic is usually feels like I'm being disrespected. It doesn't matter how accurate it is. That's just not how you treat people, right?
That's exactly right. They're just every part of it is reductive. It reduces people to stereotypes. It reduces people to faceless, emotionless people. It's
very
false,
cynical. And it's very cynical and medical or whatever you want to call it. Like it's actually just not treating people like people at all. And it's funny that they don't see that. And it's funny that that hasn't damaged their companies up to this point. I just think there's too many normies who don't understand what's going on under the hood.
Yeah, I mean,
To actually call it out as like just massive disrespect, like the worst customer, like do the opposite of the best customers, whatever you call the best customer service, like whatever the opposite of that is. That's what all these tech companies are doing. Yeah. It's terrible.
It's gross.
I mean, they're gonna do what works best. I mean, going back to the this predatory store practices, I know what I'm susceptible to. Like I do, and I avoid those games because I know it's a problem. I had to uninstall a stupid Spider-Man Endless Runner game from my phone because I kept spending money on it. So I was like, well, I gotta have the symbiote costume. This is very important to me.
Yeah.
Like I know that is predatory. I had to get it out of my life. They know it's predatory. That's why they're doing it. And you can say, oh, well, they would win you back if they just, gave it to you and they were nice about it. But that isn't what works. They're going to do what works at the end of the day. And they're going to continue to monetize engagement, which is usually going to be anger and frustration and getting upset because that makes more money and more engagement than just being like, hey guys, come hang out and chat.
Yeah. The minute we learned that negativity made more money than positivity is the day that the internet kind of took a shit. So
I think the thing what gets me like down and always being with you guys is the opposite. Is just like, we're humble little people trying to, make something cool in this atmosphere surrounded by like just trash, low effort trash that's just trying to game the system because that's what you're supposed to do. And that kind of stuff like gets me down sometimes.
Yeah, bums me out. It bums me out because I know, people have said if you guys go more negative, you could really grow the brand. I'm like, I don't want to.
I mean, it's that. I mean, that's why I said what I said about the React sphere too. It's just like the whole game is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and the whole game is just to, what any available tactic is legit. And I'm like, I didn't get into this to become a millionaire. It's like I get in this because it's fun to hang out with cool people, and if you guys can help me out with not having to work, so I can spend more time doing it, it's great. But like, I don't need that. And that was the whole internet thing. It wasn't meant to be TV. Like Prime has ads now on it. I just watched a TV show and I'm paying for it, but there's ads, and I'm like, we're just back. We're back to TV.
Yeah, but all you got to do is pay another $2.99 and you won't have to have ads anymore.
But in a few more years, it'll be more ads. Like it's like 10 ads for free, 5 ads for this tier, 2 ads for this tier, like whatever. I'm like, it's just TV. It's just back to TV, and those people are crowding our spaces. Like these idea behind YouTube, it's broadcast yourself. That's why I always like to see people with low production quality videos and not like TV. No. People who just do TV on YouTube, and I'm like,
and Amazon is the 4th largest company in the world, behind 4th or 5th. They jump back and forth with Google, but they are right up there. I promise you, there's no reality that exists in anywhere in this universe where they had to do this ad thing and make people pay another $3 to get rid of it again. There's nothing that says they ever needed to do that except for this little micro dig into people just to get a little bit more out of people, just squeeze them a little bit more.
Yeah. Shareholder game.
It's shit.
It's a shareholder game.
Gotta boil that lobster. You gotta ease the temperature up.
Freaking annoying.
We gotta make sure that the green line continues to go
up. Bit of a tangent.
We did, but thank you. You know what? Thanks, Palworld, once again for starting a big conversation about
Thanks, Nick.
Life. Yeah, good
job. I hope that answered Nick's question about why didn't you tell Scott about automation in Palworld.
I feel like I did mention it too, by the way.
You
but
did.
it's
You
fine.
did.
We
You did actually mention it. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Now, look, we mentioned earlier about how we're not greedy. We really aren't, but we do need your help to keep the show alive. It's how we pay the bills, and we do that by having you head over to patreon.com/core show. Here are just some of our great patrons. We just got Dan on board. We also have somebody named Peter Walker. Druid Breeze. That's a cool name.
I like that name.
I like that name a lot. Anyway, you guys are awesome. And you know why you like it so much? Because you never get commercials. You get pre-show, post-show content, cool monthly benefits. You can read all about these over at the website, patreon.com/core show. And a huge thanks to our existing patrons who have helped us out so much. We really appreciate it.
We considered a tier where they still get commercials.
Mhm.
They pay us, but they still get commercials. But then maybe another tier where they pay us and they don't get them.
Yeah, or we'll just introduce it later and say, "Oh, sorry, we got limited commercials, but but for another $3." See
There's
how
gotta be people that are like, John put a doghouse commercial in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, somebody somewhere is going to get cynical about that, but they shouldn't. That was just John genuinely be thankful
I
for.
paid for no ads, and John wouldn't shut up about his stupid computer.
Listen, it takes a little more grease than a SSD to pay.
I know. I
rent.
want them to send me a whole computer.
If you think an
Seven.
SSD qualifies as like shilling,
Yeah.
then I want to move to where you live in the world because it sounds like life is cheap there. You know,
Yeah.
like,
I want a whole new PC. Then this laptop can be cycled out.
Yep.
We can get a stew going.
That's right. Oh, and those asking for mashups off week. We're not doing one this week, but we will have some.
It's
coming
my
soon.
turn, and I don't say as much funny stuff. Jamie's got to look.
that
That's
is not true. For the record, that is not true.
It's
Not true at
you
all.
you are a stealth character. You say plenty funny things,
Yeah.
but we often don't hear them. But listeners do.
Some of the funniest
And-
things.
And,
Some of the
you know,
funniest things ever said here come out of John's
Yes,
mouth.
and you say them. You don't say them with like crazy like or Scott's like energy. You just go like idiot, and like it's funny as hell. But we didn't hear it. It's very simple, and yes, it's not as bombastic, but it is indeed very funny.
Yeah. So it's coming. It's
you
coming.
say just as much funny shit as anyone else.
Yeah, so don't worry, though. It will be here, and we can't wait for it. That'll do it for us. Otherwise, hey, go to frogpants.com/core for everything else. You can contact us there. You can find the podcast there, all the extra stuff we do, connections to all our social crap, all that stuff. So go find it today at frogpants.com/core. We now hand the mic over to Grandma, who catches us up on who played what this week. Grandma, take it away.
And on the off chance you forgot what games the boys talked about because you got lost in a fog of social media talk, I'll tell you what they played. They played Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. It's like Deep Rock Galactic, but top down, and there's experience orbs. Scott played Unreal Tournament 99, Unreal Tournament 2004, and Unreal 3. Because of course he did. Why wouldn't he have done that? He also played more Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, the Mobius Machine. That game's not out.
Yeah.
But apparently nobody told him there were 2 other hosts on the show. He also played Black Skylands.
Yeah.
John played Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Beat it, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
And he also finished Boxes.
yeah.
The best game since Doors for solving
Hey,
puzzles.
Grandma, your cat likes boxes too.
Yeah.
Bo played Helldivers 2. He talked about it for a real long time, so nobody accuse him of not liking democracy.
Yeah.
And then he played WoW Season of Discovery, which I don't remember him talking about, but it's on the list, so
Yeah.
I
Well,
read
Scott
it
moved
anyway.
on, so we didn't talk about any phase 2, but there'll be another week. for it.
Oh,
There's not
right.
much to
Yeah, I
say
totally
right now.
forgot. Yeah, and they talked about some weird thing with that I wanted to hear about.
There's a
but-
sleeping bag in it. It's the hot thing, man. You can get a sleeping bag, and everyone sleeps in it. You get experience bonus. It's great.
Wow. All right. Well,
We'll tell you about it more next week. It's fine. We're not even doing Nomergon yet, so it's cool.
yeah, hang on to your butts, everybody. Well, awesome. Thanks, Grandma, and thanks, everybody, for listening. I would like you all to go play some rad games between now and the next time we speak. We record live on Thursday nights at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, at least until the time shifts back over. So come watch it live with us at frogpants.tv. That'll do it for us. For all of us, to all of you, have a good week. We'll see you next time.
Get more at frogpants.com.
Yeah.